WAFL returns to the Wheatbelt and the Redlegs are desperate for a victory at their home away from home. The Demons are the most improved side of 2013.
Hooking across the body.
Chasing their 10th win of the season today, a feat last achieved in 2004.
We just go out and try hardest each game.
Today they meet West Perth, currently 3 games clear in second spot. A win today would guarantee a double chance come September and a second semi-final date with Claremont. After some patchy form either side of the state game, the Falcons have now won 6 of their last 7.
There's the response for the Falcons.
Can the Demons climb back into the 4? It's round 21 of the WAFL, live from Moora.
Yeah, good afternoon everyone and welcome to the Moora Sports Ground, where there is an era of excitement amongst the Demons supporters, which has almost become an expectation about playing finals football this year for the first time since 1997, but last week's defeat at the hands of the Sharks tipped them out of the top 4, and with a tough run home, that's not where they want to be. They won't be getting any favours from the Falcons this afternoon, who've all but nailed down second spot. They definitely are heading for finals action this season. Players are competing for spots and they won't be pulling up for anyone, especially the Demons this afternoon. In rooms this afternoon that have been freshly painted and carpeted, especially for the occasion, as we welcome back to the team Alex Malcolm and also Darren Harris. And Darren, with the finals rapidly approaching, the stakes are getting higher and higher, and especially for Perth this afternoon, sitting outside the top 4. Tough run home. This is a big task for them this afternoon.
Yeah, massive game for them. They can be as low as 6 or as high as 3 at the end of the day. So very big game for them today. It
is remarkable, isn't it? Either third or 6th as we go to the ladder, which is dominated, of course, by Claremont, 3 games clear. West Perth, 3 games clear in second. But then it really fleshes out with East Fremantle, Swan Districts holding on to 3rd and 4th by virtue of percentage, and Perth outside the top 4 along with East Perth. But a lot really can happen in the middle part of the ladder. Subiaco, South Fremantle and Peel Thunder have been pretty much cut asunder. As we look at the other matches to be played, just 2 others this afternoon at Bendigo Bank Stadium. Peel Thunder take on Swan Districts. An unpredictable Peel, especially at home, can make it tough for Swans today. And the co-tenants at Medibank Stadium, East Perth and Subiaco, will do battle there. Let's have a look at the Demons lineup, and this is the lineup, Alex, that's really got to bring home the bacon this afternoon for them.
Huge day for them, Phil. 28-point losers last week coming off the bye, and they've made 3 changes and they've lost some real experience too. Chance Bateman out with a hamstring problem, and Matt Tedesco, believe it or not, out with a knee issue. He's played more WAFL games than anyone in the Perth lineup with 89, so they're really inexperienced across the board. They've lost Christian Ayres as well. Brennan Stack comes back, he'll be an important inclusion. Matthew Hunt and Cameron Manuel into the side as well.
Yeah, well, Damien McMahon, their coach, he knows that they've been in indifferent form. They've got some problems with late changes, but he's optimistic about the outcome of this afternoon. Here he is with Nicky Brown.
Yeah, look, we got through last week with 1 ruckman. It will mean that Fraser McGuinness will be our backup ruckman. He done that in the second half of the game last week. And obviously Remus adds a lot to our team as well as a genuine goal kicker. So, yeah, still going in with a really strong 22.
Well, they certainly are, in that 22 making their way onto the sports ground here at Moora this afternoon. A fantastic ground and widely touted as one of the best football ovals outside the metropolitan area. As we look at the Falcons lineup, Darren.
Yeah, and good to have Dan Hunt back in the side, been out with injury, and he gives them some real stability along the back, across the back line there. Always gets himself in the right position, but really looking forward again to the midfield battle. And Black and Nelson have been averaging 25 and 26 possessions respectively, and if they can win that midfield battle again, they'll have enough power up forward to really take it up to Perth today.
In all of that pleases Bill Monaghan, and he's very aware that Paul Bevan and Brennan Stack are 2 really big obstacles to the Falcons this afternoon, but he believes that can be overcome. Here he is speaking a bit earlier with Nicky Brown.
Yeah, look, it's going to be about slowing their ball movement through the middle, and something we've been good at all year. So that's going to be our number 1 priority. Jones will probably go to Bevan when he can, and probably rotate a few blokes through stack, depending if they go tall or short. Last week, they really only had McGuinness as their only tall forward, so even a Rodder or a Dan Hunt might go to stack at times. So we'll just let that one unfold as the game goes along.
So as usual, Bill Monaghan all over it this afternoon. Let's go down to Nikki Brown.
Thanks.
Looks like Nicky has got some problems down there. The game has started. Strike with the ball for the Falcons deep in defence. He's unloaded as he got the kick in up towards the centre line, but it's been marked there by Black. So West Perth using the ball short through the midfield with a hand pass to Guadnan. Now he goes long up to the half-forward line. Fowler was the target. Couldn't take the mark through. Went Mellington strongly. He's offloaded now. May have been taken high. Rizal over the top of him. Mellington tries to shovel the ball out right on the attacking 50. Now Black has it for West Perth to Bartholomew. Pretty good vision across the ground. The execution wasn't so great. Manuel in the box seat here for the Demons. He gets support from Bevan. Bevan just shrugs aside one would-be tackler. Unloads with a high kick up to the half-forward line. Falcons with the numbers. And Strike punched it to Manzoni. That was rather clever, although he could have easily taken the mark. Safe mark here taken by Black, getting amongst the possessions nice and early. Good crowd in here this afternoon at the Moora Sports Ground. Short pass, Stephen Brown forward of centre. So Brown going to the hot spot at centre half forward. Leading into that area there was Fowler, just slid on top of the foot. He didn't take the mark cleanly. Now the Perth players arrive in numbers and there'll be a ball up. Let's go to Nicky, who's got the Demons bench.
Kyle Reimers, Jackson Sketcher, Alistair Smith and Matthew Hunt for Perth.
Thanks, Nicky. Line deckers up and want it down. Demons under pressure here early. And they'll get the clearance through Irons. Just playing his second match to the outer side. Here's Stack. Good to see him back. Being tracked by Kerr and he's kept it in well. Flicked it inboard. And the Falcons could go into attack again. 2-on-1. Saligas was outnumbered in the air. Sliding in bravely was Kerr and he won the football to Crisp. Now feeds it out. Salisic will hook it back to the hot spot. Millington in the box seat. Kane over the top. Fisting it to a dangerous spot. Quick kick, quick toe poke and a goal. First goal on the board and it goes to Matt Fowler. Coming off 4 goals last week. Right place, right time, Darren.
Yes, he certainly was. And, you know, Brown and Strike across half-back have already had an impact. Quick ball in there. If you see the vision here, Jason Salisic got it forward and in the right spot and a very good finish by Fowler.
Let's get into Nicky again with the West Perth bench.
Sean Marusic, Christopher Shannon, Luke Tedesco and Stephen Potenti for West Perth.
And there is Sean Marusic. Obviously be coming on to play a key role up forward predominantly. Coonan wins the tap rather easily. Hacked off the ground there by Nelson. Into open space at right half forward. Crisp falls onto the footy and then flicks a hand pass back to Nelson, who's followed up. He's on the outer wing. Chips it. Chance now for Kerr. Drives the ball up towards full forward and it fell a bit short. He didn't really get a good piece of that, Rowan Kerr. But Mellington, as often he does, Darren, just reading the play brilliantly in the right place at the right time, and that was in front where he needs to be.
Yeah, he's had a fantastic year, kicked 27 goals this year. And I think that's the way West Perth are going to have to come inside forward 50. There's no big players down there. Rodder's started down back, so they're going to need to be pretty precise.
Very little breeze. And he's got the attributes to put this through. Only 25 to 30 metres out. Mellington goes back, makes absolutely no mistake. So the Falcons have started really brightly. They've got 2 quick goals on the board inside the first 4 minutes of the match. And it's a rather foreboding first couple of minutes for the Demons to deal with, Darren.
Yeah, it's so crucial to win those centre bounces. Kerr's had a couple of early touches and that was good ball use. And Mellington just finished fantastically well there on his left leg, and he's been doing that for most of the year. So Perth need to win a centre bounce here and get it inside 50. At the moment, the weight of numbers are in West Perth's favour.
So 2 guys are in good form. Millington kicked 3 goals last week, Fowler 4. And both have got on the board inside the first 5 minutes here. And West Perth have jumped out of the gates well. Up in Moora, here's Black, Guadnan. Kerr's already had a number of important touches. Black will go inside 50 again. Just pitching short of Fowler. That's twice he's had to slide on his knees. Flicked out the back. The Demons under pressure. Salisic always there or thereabouts. And the football's over now to be tossed in, about 35 around from the Falcons' goal.
Very much a one-on-one game at the moment, and I like the way the West Perth forwards, who are small, have spread their opponents everywhere, so there's a lot of space, and leading up at the ball very well at the moment.
They've got some numbers back around this stoppage at the moment. However, Leyendeckers was there, but beaten to it by Coonan. Chance now for the Demons. Ali Smith, hand pass to the turf. Florio picks it up. He looks up and sees movement running down the ground, and that's pretty good work too by Manuel. Didn't take it cleanly. He's got enough room. Now he's chased down beautifully by Kerr. Great effort by Kerr. Second, third effort. The smother was on, and he created an opportunity for Tedesco, who looks downfield, tries to pick out Crisp. Irons was pretty good. Kerr picks the ball up. He was picked up by Irons. That is a terrific tackle. The umpire blows the whistle, will come in and ball it up. There's no doubt Rowan Kerr felt that one.
It's like the game just went up a level all of a sudden then, and Rowan Kerr let his man get out dangerous side, but didn't give up, in a fantastic smother.
Coonan dominating. Leyendeckers tried to get a kick away. Again, the ball was smothered. Stephen Brown's hand pass was knocked down. Close to the boundary line now, Hodge, the last player to touch the ball before it went over. Nikki, we just missed the toss. They got under way pretty early here at Moora Sports Ground. Who actually won the toss? Did you see it?
Yeah, thanks, Phil. Paul Bevan won the toss, and obviously they're kicking to the right of the screen. I'll also just give you an update on the weather. It's 19.4 degrees, humidity is 47%, and the wind is northwesterly at 6 kilometres, so that'll pick up a little bit later on during the day.
There's a free kick, pushing the back, going Black's way, so he's been very influential early here. No real distinct advantage with that breeze. It seems to be blowing across the ground to the far side. So Black down the line, Millington in front. Through came Salisic front and square. We've seen that so many times, over and out. Be tossed in right next to Nicky Brown.
Who mentioned the humidity, and also Bill Monaghan's got a very prominent position out in the open this afternoon. Well, if it rains, he can retreat into the undercover area. Coonan again. Good strong tackling. Black was hit. Belted into the turf there by Bevan. Now, the umpire's had a look at this one and he's decided that Black made no attempts. So Bevan, Smith, back to Bevan. West Perth's tackling and forward pressure is good. Here's Smith again. The elusive Alistair Smith tumbles the ball off the left boot. Strike went up high, controlled it to the ground. Forward they come. Manzoni looked good, just cutting a swathe through the pack. The kick wasn't terribly good. Tedesco followed up. Here's a chance now for Sean Maruzic. That might have been touched off the boot. In fact, it wasn't. It just spirals off the side. Coonan nearly pulled down a good mark. Good pressure there from Perth as well. Now Leyendeckers. That was touched off his boot. Black to Brown. Shows some strength and good pace. Again, the ball high and slightly off the side of the boot. Put down by Rizzoli. Really needed to take that one cleanly. But they'll tidy up from the last line of defence there through Kane, who kicks to a contest, and best in that contest is Manzoni. I've only seen him a few times, but he has impressed. Not so much with his kicking, although that one wobbled a bit and pitched nicely for Tedesco. He plays on, tries to pick out a target. Unfortunately for him, it's marked by Morton, who goes short to Reimers. A player that they really need to lift his rating. Reimers gets some distance in the kick. Pitches in front of Sketcher. Now, Sketcher can run onto this, and there's problems for the Falcons if he does. No one to deliver to. Gee, that seems almost a waste. He goes back to I beg your pardon, he goes back then to a teammate who has a long shot on goal. And that came from Tunbridge. He got plenty of distance on it, but missed it by a long way. There seemed to be a bit of trouble with the kicking, Darren, in the early part of the game.
Yeah, there is. It's almost like the ball's too hard or something at the moment, but there is some space out the back at the moment for Perth, and if they can move the ball quickly, they are a chance to get dangerous side of West Perth. Tedesco's come off here with what looks like a hamstring.
That wouldn't be good news. So Hunt, good to see him back. He received from Jones, and now he's gone short to Strike, who's playing. Looks like that loose man across half back, Darren.
Yeah.
He goes down the line. And that's a good grab. Good strong mark by Marusic. He's a big lad. You can see he came from 3 deep, so he's going to send it down towards half forward. Kiernan in from the side. Couldn't get 2 arms up. Number of players in and around this football, and eventually it comes out. It's just scuttled forward with a kick end on end. And Strike just with the don't argue, although he's given it up. Through comes White, bangs it inside 50, plenty of room to work with, but the football's going to beat both McInnes and Hunt out of play.
Now there is Tedesco. He looked bad as he came off. He's got a very heavily strapped up calf, Darren, and that looks to be the area that they're looking at. Not being a hamstring has got to be good news, but it seems to be a problem that he had before he went out this afternoon, because it's very heavily bandaged. McInnes does some ruck work down to Smith. Here's a chance now for McInnes. He got the footy, kicks, low trajectory, Tunbridge in the right place at the right time, and he's taken an easy mark on his chest.
Yeah, impressed with the way Perth have fought back after being under siege in that first 5 minutes. They've been able to halve the contest, get a couple of inside 50s, and they were left wide open then on that occasion.
Well, really, West Perth set the tempo early, didn't they? And Perth were chasing, but they've just got themselves into the game now. They've steadied, and a goal will steady them further. Tunbridge has done all of the scoring for the Demons. 1 goal, 1 is their score. It's all come from his boot. And they trail the Falcons 2 straight goals after 10 minutes and 45 seconds of the first quarter.
And if we get to see this stoppage again, the quick kick forward, and there's just too much space by the West Perth backman here. Left out on his own there, and goes back and finishes beautifully.
So nice no-nonsense kicking style there, Alex, from Tunbridge. He gets it onto his boot nicely.
11th of the year, Phil, for Tunbridge. Kicked a couple last week. Also made his AFL debut round 14 against Essendon, coming on as the sub. Just 2 disposals in that game. Now out of the middle, Gordon, quick kick forward. Marusic is providing a good target at centre-half forward there for the Falcons, and this will be balled up right on the edge of the centre square.
It's another centre clearance. They're dominating out of there at the moment. So got some really good structure in that centre square, West Perth.
Coonan, a decisive tap. Everyone ran away from Gordon, and his hand pass was indiscriminate. No, Sullivan fished it out. Well done, McInnes. Back to Morton. Great smother by Manning. Diving on the football desperately. The pressure from the Falcons in their front half has been exceptional so far.
You mentioned it before, and when you look at the types of players that are in that forward line with Salisic and Mellington and Gordon, and on that occasion starting down there, that's fantastic pressure.
A great smother there by Cody Manning. It's right up his alley. He loves it hard and tough. McInnes doing some ruck work. The absence of Christian Ayres, Darren, could be a telling factor this afternoon. They lost him quite late. He was injured in the match last week against East Fremantle.
Especially up against Chris Coonan, who's had 434 hitouts this year and dominated.
He's been fantastic. He won it again. This time it's taken by the Demons vice-captain, Daniel O'Sullivan.
How important is the experience? The Falcons have 8 players with more than 100 games, the Demons none.
And the durability of those players to play 16 or 17 games this year.
Hunt worked it to Dean White. Hurried kick. Could come straight back. Brown knocked it forward. Guadnan's hand pass went astray. Jacobs tried, in fact, Moody it was, tried to knock the ball clear. Falcons through Aaron Black. Now he tried to barge his way clear of the tackle. That was never going to happen. Julian Jacobs had a good piece of Aaron Black. Another 28 possession performance from Black last week for the Falcons. Hand pass came from Sketcher to Moody. It was meant for O'Sullivan. He took a big bump. Here's Cody Manning. Swings it high with the right boot. Up toward full forward. Good spoiling effort by the Demons. Rizal under pressure. Giving chase. There was Kerr. But Rizal uses it pretty well. Puts the ball out in front there of a teammate. Couldn't quite pick him up. Now there's a good tackle out there. That's going to be a free kick to Salisic. And Leeson was caught holding the footy. They've got the ball. Jordan Jones kicked, but he needed to go a bit longer. Here's Sketcher. Gave it to Morton. Pumps a hand pass forward. They can work it down the outer side of the ground now, the Demons. Irons. Chance now for them to go forward. Tunbridge had it, lost it. Now the ball is smothered off his boot. Julian Jacobs ran past it. Guadnan put his head down over the footy, picked it up, but ran straight into a tackle. And so the umpire will ball it up on the scoreboard wing. Nice bright electronic scoreboard here at the Moora Sports Ground.
Been very hard for Perth to get it out of their back half with the pressure from West Perth, which has been excellent.
McInnes won that tap in front of Coonan, who was trying to reach over the top. In there's O'Sullivan, could have been taken high. McInnes kick was smothered by his own teammate there in Sketcher, and now it's out of play.
A lot of numbers around the ball, and I think Perth have had to do that. If you look, if you can see behind the play, there's only 2 pairs forward of the footy for Perth at the moment. So if they can get it forward quickly, they've got those one-on-ones. They will be dangerous.
Brennan Stack, the man up there. Coordinate at ground level. Sketcher, little toe poke. O'Sullivan's hand pass again didn't hit its target. Sketcher cleaned it up. Leeson down the line and out of bounds on the full. That's not what the Demons wanted.
Just a result again of the constant pressure from the forward players of West Perth.
It's a strike with the free kick. Let's go to Nikki on the boundary line.
Boys, Luke Tedesco has his calf strapped up in ice, so it's looking like at the moment West Perth are down to 3 on the interchange.
Meantime, Cunin's taken a wonderful grab. That's bad news about Tedesco. Cunin inside the 50, running onto the football and cruising into an open goal is Crisp. And the Falcons get their third.
Fantastic run by the small forwards and the mids there. Great mark by Cunin. He didn't waste any time. He knew that the run from West Perth would come from behind, and that's exactly what happened. Great kick by Strike. Fantastic mark by Cunin here, and he wastes no time. He's looking to give off, swings off a step, and there's 3 West Perth players beat their players to the ball there, and a fantastic finish by Crisp. And Crisp's had a great year. That's his 26th goal for the year.
Yep.
Going extremely well.
Just one last week, already got one this week. Plays the small forward role really well. But Coonan already becoming a real headache for the Demons.
Some powerful run, isn't there, which is, away from stoppages.
Opposed to the young Lion Deckers who won the tap, but it went straight to Gwadden, and he was put down immediately by the Demons, so the umpire will repeat the process.
No, hold of the ball.
Well, gee, that was pretty sudden death. Don't know if he really had much of an opportunity. Hodge with the kick high, plenty of Falcons up. Strike stayed down, and he was rewarded with the possession, which he uses a bit wildly. It was an awful-looking kick, camping underneath at Sketcher. He drives the ball back into the pocket. Bit of a push and a shove. It was all too obvious from Paul Bevan. And Jordan Jones, his immediate opponent in this first term, as indicated it would be by Bill Monaghan, will take the free kick.
The body work was just a bit too early then.
Too early, a bit too obvious. A lot of the spectators here on the outer side of the ground, very close to the action, sitting inside the fence. Line deck is up high and punches the ball into a gentleman over there. There's some rather innovative seating, especially in the back of some of the utes out there. Almost manufactured. There's an example. Almost manufactured their own mini grandstand on the outer side of the ground. Terrific way to watch WAFL footy. Line deck is up over the top of Coonan. Wins the tap. Sketcher's been really busy. Kicks the ball up forward. Here's Stack. He retreats with the kick. Oh, and the umpire a little bit premature. He's going to pay the mark. Reimers, well, he had it, and then inexplicably Darren spilt it.
Yeah, he did. The umpire obviously...
Oh, no, that's fair enough.
Maybe that's a mark.
Yep, that's a mark.
And good to see Reimers get a couple of early touches. He broke from half-back before. If he could kick a goal now, it'd be great for his confidence. He's been a little bit up and down this year, but he has kicked 21 goals.
And has spent some time in the reserves, so back in this afternoon. Really needs to hit some form this afternoon. That's a pretty good-looking kick. And I think he's put it through. He has. He really likes it. So Lauren French searching for the central umpire, gets the all clear. So the Demon supporters really happy with that, because now at the 18-minute mark, they, right in this game, just trailing by 5 points. The Falcons accurate, 3 goals straight, Perth 2-1-13.
It is a great result when you think it's 5 points the difference here, and we watch this again as, definitely takes the mark. That's fair enough. But to be able to kick a goal from that distance, that's a crucial kick. He's into the breeze there.
He did a bit of work, didn't he?
Yeah, he worked it through beautifully.
He's kicked goals now in 12 of his 14, Kyle Reimers. Despite the fact that he spent some time in the reserves. Here's Patenti. His kick was touched. Sullivan's going to have to play on here. He wanted the call but didn't get it. Great chase by Millington. He got it back inboard to Irons. Clever turn out of trouble to Smith. His kick skews off the instep. Attacking it hard is Tunbridge, and he drills it to the top of the arc. Leeson can wind up and fire at goal. He's pulled it left. From behind.
Brilliant play at half-back by O'Sullivan. That handball under pressure to get it inside, and then Irons has worked to get it forward. And Smith's a big ball getter, so they're going to have to watch him through the middle of the ground.
So playing out on Rodder. Gets it to Brown. Drives the kick up toward the wing positions. Going down there was Manuel. recovered well from being on the ground. Gets up with a footy and kicks it into the pocket. Great anticipation. McInnes just protected the area to where the ball was going to land and took, in the end, a pretty easy mark.
It is a great kick inside, right to the right spot to his advantage. Well done by the big fella, and he'll go back. He is a very, very nice kick of the football.
Yeah, well done by Cameron Manuel too. That was a good effort to recover. Let's go down to Nicky, who's got some news for us.
Boys, Mark Crisp has just come off with the blood rule. It looks like he's just got a gash above his right eye there, and there's quite a bit of blood all over his uniform.
Okay, well, whilst all that bleeding is happening, Fraser McInnes has kicked another goal for the Demons. That puts them in front. So after conceding the first two, they have really found their feet here at the Moora Sports Ground. 20.5 minutes gone in the first quarter. And there's the terrific effort, Darren, by Cameron Manuel to get the ball up high into the forward line, and Fraser McInnes did the rest.
Yeah, McInnes has fantastic hands there, and he is a nice left foot kick. There's a lot of left footers out there today. That's another left foot goal, and that goes straight through. And I'm just a little bit critical at the moment that West Perth seem to be zoning a little bit rather than manning when the ball's close enough, and from a stoppage and a quick kick in now, they've had too much space.
17th of the year for McInnes. He was goalless last week, but kicked goals in each of his previous 5. You can see why West Coast took him with that priority selection a couple of years ago. Leyendeckers in the ruck for the Demons. They've had the better of the last couple of minutes. White with the kick out of traffic to half forward. Good tackle laid by Hodge. And through came Smith. Good kick into space. And here's Moody. We haven't seen a lot of him early. Stack wanted it in the corridor, but Moody fancies his chances here.
He'll have to kick this from at least 55, 60, won't he?
He's been a prolific goal kicker over the journey for Perth since coming back from the Brisbane Lions. This from 55, as Darren mentioned. He struck it pretty well. He struck it magnificently. Never in doubt.
Very confident, wasn't it, to go back? He assessed his options, looked around. Great kick under pressure too to find the open player after. Good to see them win a centre bounce there. Good pressure, good numbers, and good ball use. And a great finish, as you say, to be able to kick that 55, and it's gone through post high. That's gone every bit of 65 metres, that kick. That's a brilliant kick.
He's one of the best finishers in the competition. There's no doubt about that. Matthew Moody, in general, play as well as his shots on goal. Coonan and Leyendeckers, they really shared that one. Leyendecker's second effort was good. He managed to get it to his boot. That's a stellar effort by the big man. Remus paddles the ball over his headman zone. They got it. He got a hand pass off to Jordan Jones. He was slung to the ground. To the rescue comes Manning. He was dragged down but managed to get his kick in and directed onto the chest of Coonan. Such a good move of the big man. Takes a bounce, if you don't mind, and then stabs the ball up onto the flank, but it goes right onto the chest of O'Sullivan. That wasn't who it was intended for. He goes back to the goal square, the defensive goal square, and Florio goes high, close to the boundary line. Let's go down to Nicky for another update.
Boys, Mark Crisp was now put on their number 48 jumper, so number 48 is Mark Crisp.
And he'll also be identifiable, Nicky, by that huge bandage around his head. Stemming the flow.
Put your holds, don't push.
So in front of the bar on the outer, Coonan palmed it down. Only as far as Leeson, who was put to the ground. Rizal does well to get the hand pass to Leyendeckers. He's starting to come into his own. Jacobs was dispossessed, but Hodge was there to lend support. Goes with a short pass. And doing well there is Tunbridge to take the mark initially, then get on with it quickly. Out towards teammate there in Manuel, who's been pretty good too. Goes short. There's a chance for Florio, who's been busy. Back to Tunbridge, couldn't quite take the mark. Shannon spoiled him, and then Manuel, who was down on his knees, was taken high. Unfortunate there for Shannon. And Florio with the kick goes short to Bevan, the skipper. Didn't take much time with the kick. In the end, it wasn't well directed. Dropped by Mellington. He gives it off to Brown, though, to Guadnan, and Guadnan steers it short to Ray Bartholomew.
They barely called Bartholomew's name. He places it to the wing. Strike. Slowing things down Falcons will be a little shell-shocked. They had all the control in the opening 15 minutes. And it's a penetrating kick towards the 50. It's cleared a number of players. Patenti at the back, trying to keep it in.
Yeah,
and Rizzo's happy to see it over.
It's been a great fight back, hasn't it? We called it about the 5 or 6 minute mark that the game just went up a level. And since then, Perth's been able to keep the pressure right on West Perth, and they're taking it right up to them.
Coonan and Leyendeckers. Coonan with strength. Guadagnon was front and square, but it was at his feet. And the quick kick out of traffic came from Jacobs, but playing in front and being rewarded as a good grab by Shannon. Last year's reserves best and fairest for the Falcons. He sends it high, hoping for a tall target to mark. Playing in front, Coonan couldn't quite get his arms extended up. Irons just dropped the footy, but the umpire determined it spilled out in the tackle to be thrown in.
With Rodder playing back, Coonan's had to push hard forward a few times to give him that tall option, and that's going to take its toll throughout the day, but he's a fantastic athlete, Chris Coonan.
So back in ruck, wins the tap. Guadagnon didn't have the footy. Hodge looked as though he was taken high. The umpire had a good view of it all, but has elected to bounce it on the right half forward flank for West Perth. Right near the windsock, which is really doing nothing at the moment. Humid conditions here at Moora Sports Ground. Julian Jacobs gets the hand pass off, sells a teammate there into a bit of bother. That was Sinclair, who's holding the ball. Well, again, the umpire was well positioned, and Sinclair, a product of this area here in Moora, has conceded the free kick to Stephen Patenti.
Well, that's 3 caught with the balls that we would say are, pretty harsh from what we've seen this year. But if they're consistent with that and every player knows, then everyone's happy at the ground.
It's all about consistency. Patenti started his footy with Swan Districts. Now he unloads this shot at goal. He's pushed it across the face, but managed to sneak it through 4 behind. So that is the first behind, I think, for the Falcons. 3 goals, 1, and Perth 4 goals, 2.
7 points the margin. Morton will go long, hoping for Leyendeckers up and 3 bites and grabbed it. Then played on. That was brave. It worked out okay. It fell to White, but then Manuel got brought down in a strong tackle. Through comes Nelson. We haven't seen much of him, given he's been averaging 26 disposals. Gordon gave it up to Manuel, who just bangs it towards half forward. Bevan wrestling. Coming through and hoping to find it was Florio. Pushed out of there was Manzoni. Strike, going to ground. Dangerous policy this far in defence. Numbers here with the Falcons. Manzoni claimed he was taken high and will get the free kick as well. He played for that reasonably well.
Wait for the call.
I'm unsure of his options. So go down the line, hoping for Coonan. It cleared him. O'Sullivan's been very good in this opening term.
Yep, in front of the scoreboard and the makeshift mini grandstand out there is O'Sullivan. Looking there for Bevan, but he was never in best position. The youngster, Shannon, was easily able to knock the ball away from Bevan and force the ball back over the line for a throw-in.
It's been great leadership by O'Sullivan. He's repelled a fair few attacks, the vice-captain. He's having a very good game down back for Perth.
Some light rain starting to fall here again. Coonan reaches over the top of Leyendeckers. Not much movement of the footy there. Eventually Leeson got his boot to it, virtually straight up and down, touched anyway. Jacobs tried to knock it forward. Here's Manzoni, ran into a power of problems there. Eventually it was Nelson who got a quick kick out of the congestion. Well done by Millington. Gathers the footy into the path of Kerr, allowed it to pitch, and then it bounced up nicely for him. He looks downfield. He kicked it to a 2-on-1. The Falcons had the numbers, but getting back once again, the Demons, this time through Morton, who takes a bounce with the slippery ball. Gives it plenty of elevation, which is okay because Florio was in the right place but couldn't complete the mark. Now he elects to soccer the ball along the slippery surface, and it's taken over by Andrew Strike. So another boundary throw in. The rain starting to become a little steadier, as you can see, and a nice rainbow of backdrop here. There it is, you can see it's something quite spectacular.
Amazing sight here at Moora. West Perth lead the inside 50s 13-8, and yet they trail on the scoreboard. Great smother, but it's fallen back to Nelson, who kicks high towards the wing. 2-on-2. Manning couldn't get a hold of it. McInnes at the back, casting the role of a rover. This has travelled barely the 15. Big fly Florio. Front and square was Smith. And there is the siren. Very entertaining opening term here at Moora Sports Park. Demons lead it after trailing early. 4-2-26 to the Falcons, 3-1-19. Sliding in bravely was Kerr, and he won the football to Crisp. Now feeds it out. Salicic will hook it back to the hot spot. Millington in the box seat. Kane over the top, fisting it to a dangerous spot. Quick kick, quick toe poke, and a goal. Fished it out. Well done, McInnes. Back to Morton. Great smother by Manning. Diving on the football desperately. Shoot it inside the 50. Running onto the football and cruising into an open goal is Crisp.
Really needs to hit some form this afternoon. That's a pretty good looking kick, and I think he's put it through. He has. He really likes it. Yes, well, after West Perth made the early run in kicking the first 2 goals, the Demons have really asserted themselves in a must-win game here at Moora Sports Ground this afternoon, and they've done a very good job. They lead now by 7 points, Darren, and you'd have to say that after the middle part of that quarter, they looked the better team.
Yeah, without a doubt. You looked up at the scoreboard and Perth had kicked that goal and were in front all of a sudden. You felt like all the momentum was West Perth's way, but full credit to Perth, especially their half-back line. You know, Morton's been a great pickup for this time of the year, and O'Sullivan, and they've been able to, you know, get the ball through that midfield, and Smith has been fairly involved with his possessions and, been able to get it inside 50. And because of that space inside forward 50, they've been able to score with the amount of inside 50s they've had.
And Alex, the young boy Leindeckers, as the quarter developed, has been able to halve a few of the contests with Chris Coonan as well.
He's fought admirably, hasn't he? 13-12 the hit-outs in favour of Perth. Coonan's done some good work around the grounds and took a big grab which led to that Mark Crisp goal, but Leindeckers has certainly held his own. He's
a young talent. Well, let's have a look at the goal scorers in that first quarter. All singles. McInnes, Reamers, Moody and Tunbridge for the Demons, and for the Falcons, Crisp, Fowler and Mellington. And Tunbridge, as we mentioned, 5 kicks, but he kicked 1 goal, one took a couple of marks. Darren Harris mentioned Daniel O'Sullivan had 5 possessions, did well across half-back. Leindeckers, the longer the quarter went, the better he got. Manuel, terrific on the outer wing. McInnes did some good things, kicked a goal. Leeson, well known in this area, did well. So too Reamers with an early goal for his confidence, and Morton, another half-back who stood up very strongly in that first term. For West Perth, Black continues to show good ball-getting ability, half a dozen. Strike did well, a couple of marks and 4 possessions. 5 handballs amongst Matt Wadman's half a dozen possessions. Stephen Brown, 4 kicks. Manzoni, 4 kicks. Kerr, 2 and 2. Jones did well in deep in defence, playing on Paul Bevan mainly, and Mark Crisp, an opportunistic goal from his 1 kick. So when you look at the critical ones, certainly the one that just stands out right out in your face there, Darren, is I think Alex mentioned a moment ago, 13 inside 50s to the Falcons, 8 to the Demons, and yet on the scoreboard that is not reflected.
No, definitely. And I think West Perth, we know, have a smaller forward line. They're playing Rodder down back at the moment, so they have to be precise, whereas we've seen some marks by some taller players and from stoppages for Perth when they've gone inside 50, so they've been more efficient at this stage.
As the drizzle continues, let's go inside the quarter-time huddle for the Falcons.
Stoppages early. We started really well. All right, some of our work rate and intensity early was really good.
No, it feels okay.
We've got to keep working into it, but we've just got to tidy up around stoppages, right? They're well on top, right? They're getting inside us and they're getting it out, right? Watch with the handballs going back, the defensive handballs, right? There's a couple of times we've gone back and turned it over. Our pressure getting up in their face has been good. We've just got to tidy up around stoppages, all right? So what you said, let's change it.
Yep.
Right, change it up. Don't let them get inside you, or if they're going to get inside you, push them in, push them under it.
Yep.
So Craig Smoker there working with the Falcons midfielders. They seem a little bit subdued at quarter time, Nikki.
Yeah, they do, Phil, but also Perth did address their late and sluggish start to the quarter. They did say that they were getting a bit overrun by West Perth, and obviously in their forward line as well, there was too much spread there. But West Perth, rather, have decided to shut it down, and they're now playing a little bit more forward off their defenders, and that's causing West Perth a little bit of trouble up in Perth's forward 50. Also, Rizol just changed his boots, obviously, because it's a little bit slippery out here and wet, as you can see. We just did see Chris Coonan then having a bit of treatment on his left knee. He has shrugged off suggestions that there's anything too serious with it, but they were testing it out then.
Well, one man who has handled the conditions really well for the Falcons is this man, Stephen Brown. The conditions will suit him, won't they, Darren? He likes it hard and tough. He had 4 kicks in that first quarter, and when some players were battling to use the ball well early in the piece, he was delivering it quite nicely.
Yeah, he plays off very well. He plays the angles really, really well at this level, and early on he had some crucial touches. He's averaged 21 touches as a half-back this year, so he's been very, very important for the Falcons, and you can never doubt his courage.
Yeah, spending a few years on Carlton's list, and certainly he is one player that they have come to watch this afternoon, and watch in all sorts of fashions. It's really developing, that particular setup on the outer side of the ground there. I'm not too sure how it's going to finish by the day's end, but creative and innovative they certainly are. And a good crowd
grandstand
in here at Moora Sports Ground this afternoon. Swan Districts have got the jump on Peel Thunder, 4-3 to 2-2, the progressive score down at Bendigo Bank Stadium. But Peel Thunder, they're going to be hanging around all afternoon, you would expect, and Subiaco in a low-scoring affair at what is a very muddy venue, Medibank Stadium. The two co-tenants there fighting it out, but the Lions making the early running, leading by 7 points. It's a game that East Perth need to win, Darren. I mean, it's getting really 4 into 2 is the equation that we're working on, and the Royals need to dispose of Subiaco this afternoon. There's no doubt about that.
No question. And it isn't it fantastic this time of year as well?
Let's go down to Nikki, who's got the coach.
Damien, you were a bit slow in that first quarter. What was happening out there?
Yeah, first 15 minutes, we probably let them dictate terms, and then obviously we tightened things up, a bit more accountability through the midfield, and obviously finish off the quarter well. What's
your thoughts on Mitch Leindecker's up against an experienced Chris Coonan?
Yeah, thought he started the quarter really well, obviously jumped in well, and took some good possessions around the ground. Good start for him.
Great, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks to Damien McMahon. With Nicky Brown, was appreciative of the coach's time here on ABC TV. He'd be really pleased with the way that his side fought back in that opening term. They lead by 7 points as we get the second term underway. They're going to the left of screen. A free kick from the ruck contest. And Leindecker's giving away a free kick, pulling it down. And that was rough from the umpire, saying that it wasn't given straight away. It was very hot.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if we get another look at that, but he's got 50 metres, and Chris Coonan, this is a little bonus for him. He's another left footer who kicks the ball very well for a big man.
He's kicked 2 goals, 6 for the year. He's got 42-32 in his WAFL career. This from directly in front. Makes the goal umpire work a little bit, but it's straight through the middle. And that's a big bonus.
That's a big bonus, isn't it? Like, if we watch here, he does grab his arm and pull it down. Not a lot in that, but technically a free kick. We just watch here. Does the ball go straight back?
Wow.
Well,
it's a goal for the Falcons.
That's a goal for the Falcons, and I reckon one that they'll bank and say that they were probably a little bit lucky to get it. So Coonan back in ruck. Mitch Leindecker's his opponent. It's becoming a duel, probably one we didn't expect to see, but with Christian Ayres out of the Perth lineup, Leindecker's is doing his job. Coonan wins this tap. Here's Dean White. Feeds the hand pass off to Hodge. He was taken brilliantly by Manning. Play on's the call. Gee, it's willing out there at the moment. Chance now for Florio. He's got 3 Falcons to beat. Gets a hand pass away. Guadnan back into the action. His hand pass knocked down. He's still there, Matt Guadnan. Then he was taken high, slung out without the footy, and he'll get the free kick. This time, Dean White gives the ball straight back to him.
Had a lot of the ball, Matt Guadnan, in the first half and first quarter, sorry.
So a farmer himself will be pretty comfortable here this afternoon, and Chris has been edged in the back by Irons, and Mark Crisp, well, he's too far out to score, but he's a good user. Chips the ball into the pocket. Fowler, it just did a little bit awkward trying to take that one. O'Sullivan to Florio, got it out then to Smith. Smith got the ball on further afield to Dean White, the blind kick. Here's a chance for Hunt to Jones. Jones goes out wide, but he's picked out his man in black. He's forward of right centre wing, virtually on the right half forward flank, Aaron Black, but too far out to score. Short. This is right in front of the most populated area of the ground here at the Moora Sports Oval. Kerr The lead comes from Salikas, a player that we haven't seen much of. Morton has been doing a good job on him, but he's had to lead right out on the boundary line, which is good defensive work by the Demons, Darren.
Yeah, pushed him wide, and West Perth don't have that big man forward that they can kick in quick too, so that's the way they have to play at the moment. And he is a very good kick.
Yes, he is. He's got his own style, but it's been good to him over many years. This one, he's pushed across the face. Leyendeckers was up, but just couldn't complete the mark. Crisp, seeking the ball close to the boundary line. He's worked over by Irons, and the umpire will ball it in. Left full forward pocket for the Falcons.
Very important player, Crisp. Hits the scoreboard, puts good pressure on.
Can't miss you with the head bandage, even though he has changed jumper number. Irons with a quick kick out, but Coonan setting up the wall. He's marked 49 away. He doesn't think he's got the journey, so he's going to go centrally, and Hunt has marked. And he goes short and finds Kerr. There was space everywhere with the turnover. I was hoping Hunt was going to have a shot, actually. He hasn't kicked a goal in 83 matches. But it's with Rowan Kerr, who you know quite well.
Yeah, he's working really hard, Rowan. He covers the ground really well, and Perth would be a little bit disappointed with their checking then. 3 uncontested marks around the arc. Need to press up more and get that one-on-one.
15-6 on the year for Kerr. Spent 3 seasons on Carlton's list, but didn't play a game. It's a lovely kick. Splits the middle, and the Falcons reclaim the lead.
And he does like kicking a goal, Rowan Kerr. He's always been a beautiful finisher of the football. It's been the hardest stuff that probably cost him an AFL career at this stage, and that's still not done yet. But his ability to run and his skills have always been outstanding. And Dan Hunt floating down, and Chris Kern and Dan Hunt's skills there to find the open player, and Rowan Kerr goes back and he kicks right through the ball. For any young players watching that, he always strikes the ball and it goes through post high, and the Falcons all of a sudden are 5 points in front.
Yep, they've done all of the attacking in this quarter. Now, Nelson was taken down by his opposite, number 14. He has another go, though, Nelson. Did well to get it to Kerr, to Bartholomew. His hand pass missed the mark, but Shannon gathers it. He was tackled and dispossessed. It's a scrambly bit of play, but eventually Bartholomew gets it up to strike. He uses the kick. Sinclair is there for the Demons, had his jumper stretched. Maruzic got the hand pass off to Shannon. Thought about a hand pass, but he was well advised to go longer with the kick, trying to get a one-on-one down there with Fowler. Reading the crumbs is Salikas, who snaps on goal. Just dragged it a bit too far across his body. And goal umpire Lauren French signals the minor score only as he ties up his left boot. Anthony Salikas.
He gets into very good spots, doesn't he, with his work rate. He's not only a marking player, leading player, but he's very good at finding the right position front and centre and at ground level.
Morton long to the outer side. Big fly stack. What a wonderful mark. We know how much talent he's got, and it was on show there. Moves it on quickly. McInnes can wheel and go. Out in front of Hodge. Terrific hand pass from McInnes. Hodge lowers the eyes. It's with Sketcher. He's too far out to score. He's got Moody very short, and he goes to the tighter line. And Bevan, who hasn't really ventured too far forward so far in this match. But we know how good he is around goal. He's kicked a goal in every game so far this year. 47 on the season.
And as Phil said, West Perth have pushed them wide again, so it is harder to kick goals from out there, and they work back really hard, but I look forward to seeing that mark from Stack again.
He's 5 back from Josh Smith in the race for the Bernie Naylor. This is a good-looking effort.
That's a brilliant
What a fabulous finish from Paul Bevan.
He is a beautiful kick of the football, but, he's on the arc, he's 50 out, and slots it from there. That's a fantastic goal from the Perth captain, and we've got a great game here.
Let's have a look at that Brennan Stack mark. This will be the first time I've seen it because I was adjusting my book at the time, and well called, Alex. That is a beauty. I mean, he is noted for that, and the upshot was that after that sensational mark, Paul Bevan, as far as set shots go, that was top shelf. The downside, of course, is that he had to sprint off the ground and have a rest.
I love the way players like that can land so beautifully. The balance was excellent.
Yep. So coming off the side of the square was Bartholomew. Tried to hack it off the ground. Successfully enough for Salisic to gather it. He kicks it up to the attacking 50. Chance now for Rizal. He came out strongly to meet the footy. And Crisp hovering over the contest. Umpire let it go and decides that it's a holding the ball decision. So Rizzo, he was aggressive at the footy and then over the player. Didn't overcommit himself, but he's earned himself a free kick. Across the ground, Sinclair. Gee, that's a high kick. I don't think his teammates will appreciate that. Backing back and taking a solid bump was Tunbridge. Showed terrific courage and he'll take the free kick.
Definitely a free kick then.
Oh, yeah. Bevan back on through the interchange area. Gets the hand pass off to Morton. Had to release it quickly. Chance now beautifully knocked on too by Smith to Jacobs. And Jacobs goes short, wide. And it's gone over. No, it's been marked on the paint.
Bit of friendly fire in front of us too. Strike took out Salisic.
Manzoni with the kick. High. Crisp. He went the punch when he could probably have gone the mark. O'Sullivan for the Demons runs through the interchange. Gates takes the ball with him. So 32 apiece through 8.5 minutes into this second term. You can see a terrific crowd, mainly locals, of course, here at Moora this afternoon, but a big contingent both of Demons and West Perth supporters have followed their teams up here today.
And aren't they seeing a spectacle? This is a terrific match so far. McInnes won it down. Smith could have been thrown out of it by Guadnett. Here's Bartholomew. Beeline for the football. Cunin showing a cool head. Patenti and Kerr. He's had a very good opening half and shows plenty of poise there. Very short. They barely went to 15. Bartholomew, Crisp, ducks back inboard. Trying to place it in the direction of Fowler and he pushed his opponent. Kane in the back and he'll get a free kick.
Yeah, if you watch Fowler here, he gives the push early and that's very dangerous there and definitely a free kick.
Leeson. Go wide. Hodge finding some space on that outer side. He had a hand in the last goal. Providing some good run.
Move it on,
a little unsure here. So bang it high down the line. 2 on 3. Can't come over the back. Tunbridge got both hands to it but couldn't quite hang on. Patenti's in there. He gave it up. Sketcher. His hand pass intercepted by Strike. Well read by Andrew Strike, and he can drive it to half forward. And here's Jones, who want to move it on very quickly.
Jones by left, but he did indeed, and good running too. Fowler's taken the mark. Now he's inside attacking 50. We know that he's a thumping kick, so really accuracy is the only issue here.
The amount of times this year we've seen Strike come off half back like that, he runs powerfully, kicks the ball 50 metres, doesn't go much higher than your head, hardly misses a target. He really set that up well then. And Jones's deft touch to be able to hit Fowler was excellent as well.
So Fowler, any score will give West Perth the lead. Winds up, sends it on its way. That looks pretty good to me. He applauds himself. 2 goals to Matt Fowler. And with that goal, West Perth have the lead by as much. 6 goals, 2 to 5 goals, 2. And that really was a good passage of play by the Falcons down the outer side of the ground. And the real highlight was, Darren, as you say, good pressure initially, but then the way they used the footy, in particular by Strike to get the ball on to Jordan Jones. And then on his non-preferred side, did the same thing to Fowler.
Good awareness by Jones to play on. He gave himself just that little bit of space. And haven't we seen some great goal kicking today? Been some really good shots from around the arc.
Let's go down to Nicky Brown, who's got an update.
Boys, Mitch Leindeckers for Perth has just run onto the ground. He's got his right hamstring taped and he is limping a little bit and he's just been moved to the forward there.
Great smother by Patenti in the middle and he soccers it forward inside 50 again for the Falcons. Getting back Irons. He goes to ground and he was taken high. Brave work by Irons. He'll get the free kick. Just his second game. He played 3 matches with Port Adelaide. Here's White. Oh, he gave it into a man who ran into enormous trouble and Hunt was caught holding the ball. Well, the mistake really falls on White there to give it to the man and not lay the shepherd. And Manning's forward pressure, Darren, has been outstanding.
Oh, it's been brilliant. We saw the one earlier where he came off and hit hard, and that's a great tackle. He's working as hard as anyone down there defensively, and that'd be really pleasing his coach at the moment.
8 goals, 7 on the year for Cody Manning. This for 4 straight for the term for the Falcons. He drills it.
We definitely have seen some great goal kicking today, and that's reward for effort. And if we watch this again, plays on, gives that handball, but just coming really hard there, and that's just a great tackle. And there's no way he correctly disposed of that. Good decision by the umpire, and And reward for effort. Didn't get the reward earlier, but gets it there by consistency of effort.
Wonderful forward pressure. And West Perth have really dominated most of this quarter. We're now 12 and a half minutes into the second term. But they have really just upped the ante once again. Coonan wins the tap ever so gently. Dean White gives it off to Leeson. He was put down. West Perth playing really some good vigorous football at the moment. Bad news for Perth. Linedeckers looks to be in a lot of... Alex, the way you called it, I mean, it was just his speed, the way he got himself balanced up, directed the ball down toward Bevan, notwithstanding that the Falcons had the numbers there. The kick was so good that Bevan just ran onto the footy, and the rest is now history. Speaking of the devil, he's in there again. Couldn't take possession. Gwadnan can, but was dispossessed. Has a second go. The hand pass is released back toward the centre circles. In went Bartholomew, maybe trying to make amends for his previous error, Darren. He certainly put a very heavy tackle on there.
That was a much better effort, and I'm sure the runner would have been out to Ray to just make sure he's cracking in a little bit harder, and that was a great effort.
By Razor Ray. Coonan, great effort too. Hurried kick. Gee, that was only just 15 metres, maybe 14 and a half. Salisic, it's stuck on his fingertips. Gets the kick in quickly. Oh, Fowler did well. Just cut his way through the traffic. Then I reckon that's off the side of the boot. It's going to work out okay. I think, I'll leave it to you, Darren, but I thought he was having a snapshot on goal, but...
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, okay.
I thought he actually meant the kick.
Yeah.
If we watch here, he looks out to the side.
The jury's out for mine, but what did happen is that a good chest mark taken there by Anthony Salikas. I think he was going for an Oscar there. There was nothing in that by Morton. He wanted to get up and take issue with it, but this is the important part of it. He goes back. It didn't look very convincing off the boot, but Anthony Salikas had it on target for long enough. So he's now got a couple of goals. I pick up his first 1 goal, 1. And the thing for the Falcons is that they are just starting to dominate this game. And I'm going to stand by my original judgment, Darren. I reckon that's off the side of the boot.
Yeah, well, I'll say he meant to put it out there somewhere.
Right. We'll get him afterwards.
But back to a 2-goal lead by West Perth. And, they are on top at the moment, but 2 goals is nothing in the game as we've seen so far.
Gee, the lounge shares are out. Absolutely fantastic. The penchant that these people have for luxury is unheralded.
Corporate box.
Might have to grab a seat out there at half-time. Phil, this is a great game at the moment. Matthew Hunt sends the Demons towards half-forward strike, attacking it hard. He split the pack open and found the footy at ground level. His hand pass missed its target, though. Florio, 2 bites, 3 bites below his knees. He needs some help. He fished it out. Jacobs to Smith. Great tackle from behind. Again, it was Manning providing the pressure, and it's forced a turnover. It's with Black. And go down the line. Just cleared crisp. Salisic trying to tap it into the path of a teammate. Nelson off the ground. And now they can get away here. Millington can give it forward to Crisp, who can straighten up, stroll to 35 and spray it right behind.
Some fantastic tackling through the middle of the ground there from both teams, and with the conditions and a bit of rain, a couple of important kicks off the ground, one of them by Nelson.
Long kick into play over the top. Coonan, that was the right decision to put a fist into it. A little bit of indecision down there between the Demons defenders, and some of the hard tackling and the hard contest, the Demons putting some doubt in the minds of the Falcons, rather into the minds of the Demons. Still that good forward pressure. Nelson swoops on the footy, the hand pass ineffective. That looked like a high tackle. Brown dispossessed. Eventually the ball spills out and it's socked forward, and it's gone over the line. Did it go on the full, or was this deliberate?
It was on the full, did it? Yep.
So against the Demons, things just not going right for them at the moment. Andrew Strike with the footy. Dangerous man to have it. Uses it prodigiously right in toward the centre circle, and Nick Rodder. Well, the Demons just forgot about him. Short to Razor Ray Bartholomew. Another short kick, just retaining possession. Crisp, undeterred by the cut above the eye and the change of jumper, gets on with it quickly, kicks it to a 1-on-1. Jordan Jones there, support comes from Salikas. Anthony Salikas squares the footy, and doing well there, Julian Jacobs. He knocked the ball to the ground, picked up by Irons to Leeson. Spoke to his uncle Alan Leeson before the game, but he wouldn't be happy to see his nephew Joel just with that Very poor loose kick that was intercepted by Jason Salicic. A bit too casual, Darren.
Yeah, and he read it really well, Jason, off the boot, but it was a dangerous kick across goal there. They kicked the goal.
So he's gone back, Jason Salicic. Didn't take much time. Now, I wasn't watching. Did it fall on the goal line? Was a kick through by Marusic, was it?
Yes.
Okay. I'll have to wait on the replay there because when I took my eyes off it, Jason Salicic was going back to have a shot on goal, but there's the goal kicker. So it gets there to the goal line. Again, the Demons with the numbers, but Marusic he just attacked the ball a bit harder and put it through with his left boot. They certainly are more committed and more physical at the moment, Darren.
Oh, you'd be very disappointed with the two Perth defenders on that occasion. Should have worked together. There should have been body work on Marusic then, and there wasn't, and he was the beneficiary of a very soft goal.
19 points to lead now for the Falcons. Here's Hodge going backwards. He had to chase his own hand pass and then hook it back over his shoulder, hoping for Florio, who stood his ground, but attacking it hard was Shannon. He got it from Black, and he can go out in front of Crisp, who's been very lively up forward here in this second term, but this one off shins and over and out for a throw-in.
It's been very good by the West Perth halfbacks, hasn't it? In strike in particular, they just haven't been able to get it across there. The two times they have gone inside 50, Bevan's kicked goals, but they've been able to go back in the face of the Perth players and keep the pressure on.
Coonan and McInnes. Coonan decisively. Irons kick went all of 7 metres. Coonan, clever tap, went through the legs of Black, but he found it again. And now Patenti, Brown, Patenti just slipped through Stack's attempt at tackle. Here's Rodder looking for options. A floater inboard, and he might have turned it over. Brilliantly trapped by Tunbridge. And he's got men breaking, including the skipper. How will it sit for Bevan? It doesn't sit kindly for him. Rodder's chased really well and made up for the mistake and rushed to behind.
It's a funny shape, that ball, isn't it? Like, if that ball sits for Bevan, it's a goal. But, geez, you've got to give it to Rodder. He made the error in the middle of the ground, but he went as hard as he could to go back and affect it.
And points for the slide as well. So the quick kick in, Kerr, close to the boundary line, beaten, in fact, by the footy.
You would have to say, Phil, at the moment, with regards to effort, there's been probably the 2 or 3 really good smothers, some of the tackles, the forward pressure. You know, the 3-goal difference is because of that with West Perth at the moment.
Without any doubt, they thoroughly deserve it at the moment, the Falcons, taking it right up to the Demons. Chance there for Perth. Hodge doing all he can in close. Got a hand pass forward, but unfortunately couldn't find the target. Terrific pressure being applied by the Falcons in every contest. That's the old scoreboard, the backdrop there to this boundary throw-in, superseded by a nice electronic update. Mellington went down under the weight of a tackle. The umpire says play on. Could have almost penalised him. You could argue that he had a prior opportunity, but given the benefit of the doubt. So still on the right half forward flank for Perth. Coonan wins the tap. Good tackle applied there by Brett Hodge, who's had a very good season for the Demons.
And forward of the play for Perth at the moment, there's 7 pairs in their forward line with a big numbers around the ball.
Coonan down to Patenti, who's been doing pretty well too. Hunt for the Demons, sees the ball safely over the line and out of bounds. So now 23 minutes have gone, and it's West Perth by 19 points.
I think Perth have banned up the player who's dropping off for Perth, so that there's pairs everywhere now to try and keep themselves in the game.
It's been 8 goals for the term, so it should be a lengthy quarter. Patenti was taken without it. Free kick. Will advantage be paid? It is. So Marusic running towards the 50, places it out in front of Crisp. And that was a fabulously weighted kick, Darren, and Crisp can line up for his second.
It was fantastic by Marusic, but also West Perth around the stoppage, able to get first hands on the footy. They get the free kick from there. And the flow of the ball, Marusic just put it to space beautifully, and Crisp has run really, really hard forward today, and either drop of the ball or to get on the end of him, and the work rate has been excellent from Crisp.
Kicked multiple goals in 7 matches this year. He sprayed one on the run from a similar spot, but this is gun barrel straight. Crisp has 2, and the lead is at 24.
It's a very handy lead coming up to the 25 minute mark of the first quarter, and 4 goals with the way the game's been played and the pressure that's been applied is a really handy break. the thing for me at the moment is can they win enough clearances? Can they get it inside forward 50 enough? If they do that, Bevan's shown that he will kick goals.
Well, Bevan coming off the ground as we speak, which is not really where they need him at the moment. Mark Crisp and the young man Irons having his hands full at the moment. 4 goals is the break, close to half-time. McInnes in ruck, does well. First effort, second effort. Eventually he gets the hand pass out there to Reimers. He goes out wide, very close to the boundary line. Stack taken in a tackle by Brown in front of the bar area. There will be a throw-in.
The difference going inside forward 50 there. West Perth go inside forward 50, are able to take a mark and kick a goal. That goes over his head then. No opportunity to have a shot.
Yep. And it's a stoppage. So West Perth and McInnes. McInnes gets the tap. Beautifully picked up there by Mellington. Tackled. Released a hand pass close to the boundary line. So Sinclair's hand pass was ineffective. It's vacuumed up brilliantly by Kerr. He goes with a driving kick up to Fowler, who dropped an absolute sitter. Now he's in trouble. Maybe been legged there by Kane, but he eventually got the hand pass out towards Salikas, did Matt Fowler, but he couldn't control it under pressure from Morton. So there will be another throw-in just forward of left centre wing for the Falcons.
The foot skills from half-back are excellent again. Strike's done it. Kerr's kick there was brilliant. Fowler should have marked that. Some really good skills being put on display.
Coonan could have been nudged under it there by McInnes. The football's locked up again. Sinclair at the bottom of that pack.
If you're a local that's come to watch the game today, you'd be pretty happy with what you're seeing.
Absolutely.
It's an outstanding WAFL game.
Nelson took it at the back of that pack after McInnes tapped it clear. Great attack there by Russell. He kicks towards half forward. Stack attacked it hard. Front and square was Smith. And past to Leeson. And now Florio can give it to Tunbridge, who drives it deep, hoping for Reimers. It just pitched short of him. Can he keep it in? He does. He slips past the tackle of Shannon, curls it through. Great experience. Reimers gets his second. And the margin back to 18.
Trademark by Reimers then. That's what we come to expect of him. He's very powerful through the hips and the core, and if you watch this, he chases it down. They miss another target inside 50. He's able to keep it in, shrugs that tackle with his strength, and he's always been a great finisher like that. And it's a very important goal for Perth, and it does keep them in touch. It is only 3 goals, and we know at this level, with a couple of players down, the ability to be able to stay in the game and keep the run is going to be very important. There's been players that have run to the bench already and looked for a change and been sent back with the player down. So great finish by Reimers.
Coonan rucking well. Manuel though for the Demons Sharks, and he kicks it very, very high, camping underneath it there. Couldn't see who that was. It might have been Dean White, who was in all sorts of bother. It was. The ball was too elusive for him. It went to Black, who gave it to Manning, then back to Aaron Black. He straightens up, and a good lead coming from Crisp. He got a bit of a high one too from Hunt.
Must have a fair gash on his head too. You can see the blood coming through that bandage, and it's been a great effort by him to get up and perform the way he has.
The kick was just reeled in with one hand by Michael Florio, but his kick blanketed. And it's been those smothering, that smothering, the tackling, the chasing that have really been the hallmarks of West Perth's first half and has given them the lead that they have at the moment. But gee, that was a timely goal, a terrific effort by Reimers, and for his confidence and for the confidence of the team, they couldn't have really afforded for West Perth to get the last one before the half-time break, but they still might. Beautiful ruck work by Chris Coonan, gets it down to Matt Gwadden on the run. That was a great combination of the 2 experienced West Perth players. I hope Bill Monahan was watching, because that was terrific footy and finished off magnificently by Matt Gwadden.
That's as good as it gets, isn't it?
Yep.
Chris Coonan is your typical tap ruckman. He's really good at his craft. He knows where the body is here. That's a great understanding between those two. And Matty Gordon is having a great game today. He had a lot of the ball in the first quarter, and he does finish well. And he's so important to the way West Perth goes. He's going to be a crucial player as we head towards September.
8th goal of the year for Gwadden. Debuted against Perth, round 3, 2002, Darren. Long time ago. Back in the middle. Slopped up.
Yes, I was coaching that day, and he's always been a great kid, great player. Apart from that knee injury he had, he's been very durable.
Coonan won the tap for Tente. got brought to ground. Nelson, quick kick out of traffic. Here's Crisp and Hunt. That's been a good duel, which Crisp has probably got the better of. Gordon got ridden into the ground, but he got rolled to his side, according to the umpire, so a bounce.
Just such a crucial game for both teams, and you can see the intensity, like opportunity to cement second spot, opportunity to play finals for Perth.
Rizal in the ruck now, filling in for McInnes with the injury to Leyendeckers. Moody has had an interesting afternoon. He kicks high to the wing, Stack fighting hard for front spot, and it comes off the back. Leeson lowers the eyes and hits Tunbridge. Now he's too far out to score, but he does have a good left foot, and he goes into the path of Bevan, who couldn't mark on the chest. Leeson was roving. He let it go. It slips through Bevan's legs. He took his time and got caught holding the ball. Good tackle, Brown. Good awareness. And a free kick to the Falcons.
Great work by Strike then. He's been one-on-one with Bevan, been able to get the ball to ground. Brilliant play.
And another great effort by Brown, who earned the free kick. Kicks it to a big pack. Just camping at the back of the pack was Hodge. Sends the ball back from whence it came, and there is Andrew Strike, as if on cue, taking the mark in the pack.
He's got to be looked at the next level again, I reckon, Andrew Strike.
Strike with great vision, making himself available out there as Mellington gets around onto his trusty left boot. Beautifully weighted ball into the path of Rodder, who doesn't have to break stride. He's forward of the centre line, delivers brilliantly lace out to Fowler, who was marked about 40 metres out and directly in front.
Again, we get to see the foot skills, you know. The big man Rodder's running really powerfully. That's a great finish, but that all starts for me with Andrew Strike. He gets the ball to ground against Bevan. He comes back with the flight, takes a mark, hits the open player in the middle of the ground, goes from one end to the other. Fantastic foot skills. And Fowler finds himself on the end of it, I think, going for his third.
What a great view we've got of this particular kick. Falcons lead by 4 straight goals. This will give them a 5-goal break as we go into the half-time break. As the siren goes, he brings it back. Oh, well done to Fowler. A goal right on the siren. So 3 goals in the first half to Matt Fowler. And a terrific effort by the West Perth team, but have a look at that. Chris Coonan with a bit of a shoulder injury. So there have been quite a few injuries to both sides in this first half of footy, but it has been an outstanding game for the first half. West Perth leading by 30 points, 12 goals, 375 to Perth, 7-3-45. Leyendeckers is doing his job. Coonan wins this tap. Here's Dean White, feeds the hand pass up to Hodge. He was taken brilliantly by Manning.
Morton long to the outer side. Big fly, Stack. What a wonderful mark. His second game, he played 3 matches with Port Adelaide. Here's White. Oh, he gave it into a man who ran into enormous trouble. Here's Rodder. Looking for options, a floater inboard, and he might have turned it over. Brilliantly trapped by Tunbridge, and he's got men breaking, including the skipper. How will it sit for Bevan? It doesn't sit kindly for him. Rodder's chased really well and made up for the mistake and rushed it behind.
Well, it has been a very tough, hard, physical game, and there's no doubt the Falcons have been leading the way in that department. They lead by 5 goals on the scoreboard, but it has taken its toll. We've seen some injuries. That is a critical one. I didn't see what happened, but Chris Coonan seems to be in some sort of discomfort with a shoulder injury. They certainly deserve their lead to be 5 goals at half-time, Darren. It's been a terrific game of footy, but the Falcons really do look switched on.
Yeah, they do. And yeah, it is a bit of a worry for them seeing Coonan. He looked in a fair bit of pain, so I'm sure they'll look at that at half-time, and he's been crucial for them around stoppages. That deft touch to Guadagnon was as good as you ever see, and a great finish. But yeah, you're right. They've come with a purpose here today, and that's to get second spot. There's no doubt about it. Their pressure's been outstanding. Forward line pressure's been brilliant, but across half back too, Stephen Brown and Andrew Strike, and with Tedesco going down, which unsettled him a bit, and the big man Rodder's doing a really good job down there too. So they've been able to cut it off at halfway and half back and go back in the face. And the foot skills of West Perth has been outstanding today, hasn't it? They've hardly missed an inside. I'd be interested on the stat of inside 50 marks. And we've seen from both sides, the finishing for goal has been brilliant.
Yeah. All right, well, let's have a look at the goal scorers. And Matt Fowler has had a very good first quarter for West Perth. He's kicked 3 goals, 1 right on the halftime siren. Crisp 2, singles to Kerr, Guadagnon, Salikas, Coonan and Maruzic, and for the Demons, Bevan and Reimers each have 2, McInnes, Moody and Tunbridge 1 apiece. And that's how it's panned out. It was a very tight first quarter. The Falcons, the Demons led by 7 points at quarter time, but now West Perth with a terrific second quarter, 5 goals. In actual fact, they kicked 9 goals in that quarter to 3, and they now lead by 30 points. Looking forward to the second half. Also looking forward to our halftime at the footy package this week. Michael Genovese has this feature story on Dom Sheed. He's a young player who's going to have a big future in footy. Don't worry about that. He was the captain of the state 18s in their campaign this year. Won the Lark medal in the carnival despite missing the last game with a serious shoulder injury. And the story focuses on the hard work getting there and the work that he did with the Department of Biomechanics at ECU. And after that, we'll also look at the other state leagues in South Australia, Victoria, and then back here at Moora Town Oval for the second half of our match of the day.
Hello and welcome to Halftime at the Footy. WA's under-18 side has recently returned from the National Carnival in Melbourne, where they placed third, and 4 boys were selected in the All-Australian side. A fairly impressive effort on the back of a pretty impressive program. Now today I'm at ECU Joondalup in a biomechanics lab, and we're going to take a look at exactly what goes on behind the scenes in WA's most elite junior academy. The program has been churning out quality young footballers for years, and this season's crop is no different.
Get up, get up, get up!
Captain of the side is 18-year-old Dom Sheed.
There's a whistle, and advantage paid to Sheed. From outside 50, decides to go on his own all the way. Dominic Sheed, beautiful finish. And they've certainly come to play. 2 goals won already, WA.
The on-baller led his side from the front, averaging 28 disposals across his 4-game carnival, including a 29-possession and 4-goal game, which helped WA to a 3-point win over Vic Country.
This is for the game. Siren to sound, McCarthy for his 3rd goal. He nails it, never in doubt. What a finish.
It was a performance that helped earn him the prestigious Lark medal as the Carnival's best Division 1 player.
He's the best of his type, there's no doubt. Best of type, inside mid.
Obviously makes me feel pretty good about myself. Wouldn't have got it without my teammates kicking me the ball. So yeah, it's pretty big honour. Some big names have won it in the past, so hopefully I can go on, and I'm certainly not satisfied with what I've done at the moment.
Sheed's name goes up beside a host of West Aussies who have won the award and gone on to have successful AFL careers. Players like David Swallow, Harley Bennell and Stephen Cornelio. In fact, in the past 7 years, 5 West Aussies have taken home the individual award.
Dominic Sheed, possession number 21, so far ahead of the rest.
Certainly wasn't expecting it. I thought my carnival was a bit up and down, but yeah, I wasn't expecting the medal, but it was a pretty big honour to be named the Lark medalist.
Around his neck, the medal was joined by a sling. Sheed came off second best in this contest in the dying stages of the game against Vic Country.
McCartan's been very good for Country, and he comes out hard of the ball and hits Sheed and gets him down.
There was 3 minutes to go in the game, and I just had a collision with their biggest bloke on the field. So he was 100 kilos or something, and his head hit my collarbone and broke my collarbone. I think he missed the next game with concussion as well, so it was a pretty hard hit.
Sheed is set to miss the remainder of the season after needing surgery on his collarbone. So today the skipper was watching on as his teammates were put through their paces at ECU's biomechanics lab.
So basically we do the agility test, which is around poles. We do the 20-metre sprint, and we test how high we can jump as well. We test all of our kicking and handballing skills, and also the beep test, obviously, which is a big one. So it pretty much tests how fit you are overall and how quick you are, how high you can jump. So yeah, you do them at the start and then you do them at the end, and you see how much you've changed and what you need to work on and stuff like that. So, and also the AFL clubs get a hold of them as well.
Yep, let's go.
Carl Woods has been studying sports science for the past 7 years and is completing his PhD at Edith Cowan University. He's looking at talent identification and acquisition of skill in junior Australian football players.
We'll use this information to identify the difference between these guys, the state players, and the players that weren't selected within the state program. And from there we'll identify where other players that haven't been selected need to improve their skill sets to get to the standard that these guys are at.
These types of kicking drills have been around for a while.
All that side's on your right foot, all that side's on your left foot.
A player is normally scored on how many of the targets he can hit, but today Woods is looking at it from a different angle.
We need to really identify the ball velocity to look at the kind of speed accuracy trade-off. Do they supplement the accuracy to make it a slower kick, or do they supplement the speed to make it more of an accurate kick? That's what we need to identify. So we want to look at these elite players, and it's been known that more elite players won't need to supplement either of them, either of those variables. They'll both be accurate and fast with their disposal.
A bit strange at the start. You sort of don't really know what the point of it is, I guess, but once you get used to it and you sort of figure out, the all comes in handy when it comes to, the scouts and working on your technique, I guess.
So you might have the two guys that score 3 out of 3. One moves it there at 80 kilometres an hour, and one moves it there at 40 kilometres an hour. So from a recruiting point of view, they might suggest that the 80 kilometre an hour is more advantageous than the 40 kilometre an hour athlete. So that information is novel. It's something that hasn't been really looked at, ball velocity in the Australian Football League yet. So our guys are really doing some forefront research for us, so we can really put this forth to the AFL. The AFL are always looking to identify better ways to identify young talent, to get more names on whiteboards, hopefully get more kids from WA, South Australia, Victoria and the other states drafted. So the drive is coming from the recruiters needing more objective data to really push the purposes of these testing days, rather than just rely on their subjective assessments of a footy game.
Cut through.
So how does WA's testing results stack up against the other states?
Well done, 844.
We're a lot faster. So in terms of our actual fitness parameters, we tend to be a lot faster in a linear direction. So over 20 metres, our guys are generally pretty quick. Sub 3 seconds over 20 metres is an elite time, and a lot of our guys at an under 18 level and an under 16 level produce pretty fast times. From a physical maturity point of view, the other states, particularly South Australia and Victoria, are a lot bigger than us. They've got a lot more of muscle mass in their lower body. It comes from undertaking weights at a lower age. Their development programs are slightly different to ours. So they're a lot more physically mature, so to speak, but our guys tend to be a lot faster in one direction. Now this year we've worked heavily on trying to improve their anaerobic threshold, so their ability to run fast, recover, run fast and recover, which we've done fairly well to really work to our favours. Rather than trying to match them physically, we try to beat them off the ball.
When you're ready, let's go.
And while it's all very scientific, Woods says he's often asked if there's a side of football that can't be measured.
Push.
The hardest part for us that we're finding is decision making. Now that's a big area of my PhD that we're growing into as well. We want to identify good decision makers and train athletes into good decision makers that might not necessarily be the best decision makers. Now that's quite hard to quantify. So we're trying to come up with some clever ways to do that through using video clips, developing specific drills to encapsulate decision-making options, and looking to quantify that and look to train that a lot more.
Can you give us an example of such an activity?
Yeah, we've currently got a whole battery of clips that are from a behind the goals perspective, video clips. Now we'll isolate specific moments in an AFL game where an athlete will need to make a decision, that be kick it to the player on the left, on the right or long, or maintain possession of the ball. We'll then pause the clip at that critical moment, and then the athletes will have to identify what the correct decision is. Now the correct decision is fed to us by our footy coaches. So they'll say, Michael Pratt for example might say, well in this particular option the player needed to pass left. And if our players don't pass left, we can then identify why perhaps they haven't gone with that direction. We can then look to identify why they've gone that way, find the mechanism for the poor decision, so to speak.
And Dominic, you're likened to Simon Black in the notes.
Well, are you? Simon Black?
Yeah, it's, nice. It's obviously a huge rap to be likened to him, but, I'm my own player, try to be my own player, so yeah.
And what's your major attribute?
Probably my clearance work and my kicking. That would probably be my best attribute.
So what does Woods make of WA's latest Lark medalist?
Dom's an interesting one. He's a very good footy player on the field. He comes out here and tests very well as well. He doesn't blow you away as such. He's not as fast as a John O'Marsh, or he doesn't jump as high as a John O'Marsh. but he can perform very well in these skill-based tests. He's a very smooth mover. He's a very good decision maker. He performs well in decision-making drills, which is why I think it really drives his kind of elite standard out on the footy field. He's one of the best decision makers in our team, which probably stems from a number of reasons. He was a very good basketballer as a junior age, and we know that good decision makers come from basketball backgrounds. So he, in these kinds of fitness drills, so to speak, he's probably middle of the pack, but when you put him into a decision-making environment, he's by far the best on our list. He's a very, very clever footballer.
What a class act Dominic Sheed is.
After falling short against Norwood by just 3 points, the Bloods were looking to flex their muscles when hosting Sturt, who hadn't beaten West Adelaide since 2011. In wet conditions at Richmond Oval, the home side drew first blood when John O'Beach roved the pack in the opening minutes of the game. The scoring dried up after that though, with the Bloods adding just 7 behinds to the scoreboard. After over 40 goalless minutes, the second goal of the game came at the 18-minute mark of the second term when Tyson Slattery converted after a diving mark. Another one followed through Ben McCready to push the margin to 22 points before the double Blues responded.
Unloads. I'll tell you what, that's a fair kick. That is a very fair kick indeed.
West Adelaide began to capitalise in the second half, adding 3 goals, 6 in the term, while keeping Sturt scoreless for the quarter.
Out smuggles out towards Tuck. Tuck just pokes it out there and gets a goal out of nothing.
The visitors finally kicked their second goal in the final term, but this just spurred the Bloods, who added 4 more majors on their way to a 56-point win. The class of West Adelaide shone through in sloppy conditions, winning every quarter on its way to a dominant victory. The usual suspects in Daniel Kerr, Ben McCready and Shane Burse were among the best for the Bloods. Around the grounds, Norwood was back to its best with a big win over Port Adelaide. The Eagles were too good for Glenelg, and Central District upset the second-placed Roosters by 50 points. Looking at the ladder, and West Adelaide and the Eagles have made up ground on North Adelaide, while after a slow start, Central District is 2 games and percentage clear in the top 5 and has almost guaranteed itself a finals berth. The boys from Sandy would have been full of confidence after round 13's upset win over Williamstown, but they were dealt a demoralising 20-goal reality check by Geelong 2 weeks later. Their next opponents in Essendon had a spot in the top 8 up for grabs if results went their way. Kicking with the breeze in the opening term, Essendon dominated early but wasted opportunities in front of goal before the floodgates finally opened.
Kicks long, kicks to the back, and the carry to Danaher, off to Davey, and they are making a one-act affair of this at the moment.
It was one-way traffic in the opening turn, the Bombers eventually capitalising on the wind advantage to lead by 23 points at the first change. The Zebras started the second term well, with Darren Minchington kicking a nice goal on the run, and the home side was back in the game when Bo Dowler kicked his second major for the afternoon. But someone was having a day out at the other end of the ground.
They're protecting space. Here's the dangerous man, Dusha. Look at that for a goal!
A strong mark in front of goal from the experienced Stuart Cramer. He kicked off the second half before the Bombers made it 7 straight majors when Matt Furman snapped his third to stretch the margin out to 10 goals. Sandringham kicked off the final term with a classy consolation goal.
Sweeping onto the loose ball, he's got vacant land in front of him, Mike Cook, and he's going to have to do it himself. He cut back in like a slalom skier and kicked the goal.
But it was the Bombers' day as they cruised to an easy victory. Another goal to Dusha sealing the win. Essendon was too strong from the opening bounce and led all day to win by 43 points. Ben Dusha was best to field with plenty of the ball and 5 goals. In other games, Box Hill defeated Bendigo by 47 points. 6 goals to 1 in the final term saw Williamstown run away from Collingwood. Geelong proved too good for Casey in the top of the table clash, winning by 11 goals. Frankston led all day to upset the Northern Blues and in turn threatened their finals chances. And a 6-goal haul from Liam McBean helped Coburg come from behind to overrun North Ballarat by 16 points. A huge weekend in terms of shaking up the ladder as Geelong asserts itself as the team to beat, moving 3 games clear on top, while Casey has dropped to 4th. Essendon's big win sees them sneak into 8th spot by just 0.05%, replacing the Northern Blues, who join North Ballarat just outside the 8.
And on the subject of the Basketball World Cup, take note that the Oceania qualifiers, Australia versus New Zealand, this is men and women, Game 1 on Wednesday the 14th of August. That's a delayed telecast at 11:30pm. And Game 2 on Sunday the 18th of August, a live telecast 2pm, and that is on ABC 1. So looking forward to that. Looking at the other half-time scores, and Peel Thunder are hanging in there. Swan District 6 goals 9.45, Peel Thunder 4 6.30, and Subiaco doing pretty well to hang on to East Perth at Medibank Stadium. The Royals 6 8.44, but Subiaco on their tail 6 4.40. And just referring back to the goal scorers, Fowler has 3 and Crisp 2 for West Perth, and for the Demons, multiple goal scorers Bevan and Reemans, each with a couple apiece. Been impressed with Tunbridge, 9 straight kicks. He doesn't like the handball, but taken some good marks, kicked 1 goal. Bevan has kicked a couple. Leeson has had a fair bit of the footy, 8 possessions. Ali Smith's had 10, 9 to Hodge, who's been busy. O'Sullivan quieter in that quarter. I've liked Manuel's game, and Reemers has done some encouraging things. He's kicked 2 goals, most importantly. Crisp, very busy. He's been good. 2 goals, 1. Black, in and under, 11 possessions. Strike uses it so well with 9 possessions. Kerr's kicked a goal from 8. Fowler's kicked 3 goals. He's done extremely well up forward for them. Coonan outstanding. Interesting to see if he butters up for the second half. Guadnan, a great goal from 9 possessions. And Stephen Brown, very reliable, 7 across half back. And Darren, when you throw them all together, there's a few vital stats there that are very interesting, the inside 50s in particular.
Yeah, definitely. And if you look at hit-outs, 11 more, 6 more centre breaks, 13 more inside 50s, as you just said. Accuracy's been really important, 12 goals, 3. And because they've been first in for the footy, there's been 7 more free kicks as well. And I think 10 more marks shows that, Perth need to make sure they get a little bit closer.
Well, let's go down to Nikki Brown, the queen of the kids here at Moora Sports Ground this afternoon. Nikki.
Yes, they are, Phil. Guys, how have you enjoyed it so far? Yeah! Now, these are the guys from Moora and surrounding football clubs, and they've just played on at half-time, and they're enjoying themselves so much. They're even standing out in the rain here with me as well, and they're braving the conditions. So, guys, who's going to win today? Over to you, Phil. I don't know which team's going to win by that, but they seem pretty much down the middle. Yeah, mixed sentiments. There's no doubt about that. Thanks, Nikki. And the kids really enjoying themselves. It's been terrific here this afternoon. The action started here at the sports ground at about 9 o'clock this morning. There were junior footy games, hockey games, netball games, and, of course, some of the local senior matches were played as precursors to this match. So a good crowd coming in right from the early part of the day. But, a long haul here as the conditions start to deteriorate, Darren. The more the rain sets in, the greater that 5-goal deficit is going to appear as far as the Perth team is concerned. Yeah, no question about that. So it'll be a different game with the weather like it is. But we've sort of been getting it, and it's been coming and going. So hopefully it's only a shower for a while, but definitely changed the state of the game. And West Perth would be reasonably happy with that, I'd imagine. And these country games are fantastic, as you said, Phil. They're fantastic for the community and the people that come out, and great for... And they come well equipped. Yeah, and great for WAFL clubs to be able to put something back in. Good to see Chris Coonan out there, Alex. No reappearance of Mitch Liondeckers. That's no surprise. But people are really bunkering down for what promises to be a tough, hard second half here.
Yeah, West Perth have the advantage. 5 goals leaders at half-time, courtesy of a 9-goal second term. They're going to the left of screen here in the third. And the first touch, well, he didn't go to Guadnan. He didn't quite dispose of it legally. Hodge to McInnes. Quick hands to White. Now Smith, he needs to get involved. Here's Sketches over the top to Smith. We know how good he can be with the footy in hand. His kick is cut off by Strike, who's been fabulous so far today. That's his 10th touch. He kicks it out in front of Marisic. But it's over and out. Let's go to Nikki, who's braving the conditions with Perth's bench. Boys, Joel Leeson, Mitchell Liondeckers, Matt Moody and Matt Hunt are also on the bench for Perth. Is Liondeckers done for the day, Nikki? Yeah, it looks like it at the moment, but they might just give him a bit more of a try after this quarter. So throw in. McInnes won it from the front spot. Manning's been brave all day. Some of his pressure acts have been outstanding. Nelson from his knees haven't been as prolific as we've seen so far this year. Today, kick smothered out of play as the rain gets heavier, Darren. Yeah, how was Andrew Strike's cleanness off half-back then, just to pick it up off one step, and we've had our second stoppage here at half-back as a result of that cleanness. Driving rain now here in Moora. In from the back, but Tente couldn't gather it. Men are going to have to put their head over the footy, and it's started with the captain there, and now a rolling maul. And after such a free-flowing, entertaining second term, this may turn into a bit of a bog. Let's go to the West Perth bench, Nikki.
Boys, Aaron Black, Rowan Kerr, Christopher Shannon and also Luke Tedesco. You won't see him on the bench, but he's in the change rooms, won't return today.
Holding the ball decision going against Guadagnon. He was the man braving the conditions, putting his head over it, and he's been penalised as a result. So Sinclair for the Demons. He'll go short. They need a big second half from this man, the Demons. It's with Smith. Long to a contest. This will take some marking. Off hands over the back. Strike read it well and was clean with his hands again, and that's a terrific grab by Guadagnon.
Guadagnon gets it off to Mellington. High kick from Mellington to open space at right half forward. It was heading towards the wet area, the bar area out there on the half forward flank. Well patronised, but the patrons have disappeared under cover. I was talking to the Shire president, Colin Gardner, when I came into the ground this afternoon. He told me that there wouldn't be much rain. He might have to reassess because it seems to have set in right at the moment. Manzoni had it, lost it. There's a chance now for Florio. Puts the left boot into it, floats it up along the boundary line, over the top. Jordan Jones playing safety first and hammering the ball into the fence.
He's become a very good backup for Dan Hunt, Jordan Jones. We were really impressed with him against South Fremantle when they weren't at their best, West Perth. He's become an important tall defender for the Falcons.
He was good for them again last week too. Coonan gets it down to Guadagnon again. They've really teamed up well, but the Demons, they're onto it. They've no doubt spoken about it at half-time. So Guadagnon not going anywhere on that occasion. There's a lot of players around this ball up. McInnes might have got the best of that one. Ball hacked forward. Crisp pushed out of it. Salikas gets the hand pass back to Guadagnon. He's enjoying these conditions. Here's Manzoni, goes with a centering kick, very, very high. Crisp underneath it, just couldn't quite control the footy. And sliding along the ground there and seeing the ball safely over was Nick Kane.
Just one-on-ones all over the ground at the moment, which is what Perth need to do. They need to make this a real contest, and I think they'd be wanting to make sure they're 2 goals closer. And if West Perth can get the next goal, it really makes it hard for them.
Yeah, the Demons, they really do need it. Dean White, gee, that was solid contact. Matt Guadagnon just sliding in there and got Dean White high, but geez, pretty tough. Don't worry about that. In fact, 2 very tough men coming together there. White from the defensive 50-metre arc at left half back. Nick Rodder was up. He was quite content to see the ball slide off his hands for a throw-in out by the scoreboard, which is becoming more illuminated the darker it gets here.
Very good debut year by Rodder. He's only a young kid, but he really shows a lot of presence as a big man.
Keenan McInnes. Nelson, clever hands. Mellington, who started in the centre square for this second half. Jacobs trying to get his hands free. He couldn't escape that nest of Falcons. How do you make the adjustment in terms of style now, Darren, given it was so free-flowing in that second term and the rain has set in?
I think West Perth would be very happy with the way it looks at the moment. They'd be wanting this contest and continue it, and I don't think there's much you can do.
This is a bit of a rolling maul, and Bartholomew squeezes a kick out. Playing in front was Morton. He's had a pretty good day. Salikas was very good, though, to win the football. And now it can be sent high inside 50. Fowler couldn't quite hang on close to the boundary line. Off hands, it'll be thrown in.
It comes back to getting the balance right. You obviously want more kicks than handballs now. It's about yardage. You've got to win your one-on-ones and make sure that you win them well. And if you can get the ball to some space and get it in long and quick and it hits the ground, you're a real chance to score.
Coonan trying to work it down to his partner in crime in Guadagnon. Patenti socket the ball to his own advantage. He's still there, but Hodge beats him to it. Gets it to Irons. Irons off to Jacobs. I don't think he really appreciated it. He had nowhere to go. And predictably enough, the ball was jolted out of his grasp. So it's still inside attacking 50 for West Perth. As Darren said, should they get the next goal, it's going to make it really, really hard for the Demons. They so desperately need the first one. Manuel goes after it, under pressure from Crisp. Manuel, knocks the ball to the boundary line. The umpires confer here, and it's going to be a Perth kick. Not too sure exactly why. couldn't see any indication of what the free kick was for, but Manuel has it for the Demons, goes high. There won't be many high marks taken for the remainder of the day. Reimers soccers the ball clear, and that's not a bad policy at the moment. Rodder's going to perhaps beat Bevan to the footy. Got the boundary line as his ally, and then Bevan appeals to the umpire and says, what about it? But the umpire says, no, disguised it well enough and it'll be a throw in. And there was no doubt in my mind what his intention was, Darren.
Yeah, no doubt about it, but disguised it very well, and in these conditions you've got to give him the benefit of the doubt there.
Rizal having a run in the ruck. Neither ruckman touched it. Over the back, Bartholomew just hacks it out of mid-air. Clever policy in these conditions. Kane with support behind him. It was fisted forward by Manning. And now sent back from Smith towards the wing. I think it wasn't Smith. There's going to be a lot of contested ball on that outer side, and again, it's over and out of play for a throw-in.
I think Perth have really gone one-on-one with matchups as well. We saw Gordon's first 5 minutes was outstanding. Then he was involved in everything. He's come off the ground. His opponent comes with him. Black comes on the ground. Leeson goes with him. So it looks like there's going to be one-on-one matchups everywhere, and it is a way that Perth might be able to get back in the game.
Took a little bit of time to get the footy back. It got trapped under a car there. Not a sight we see every day, every week, week in, week out at the WAFL. Rizal's kick goes straight up and down. Clever hands there from Kerr to get it to Coonan. And look at the nimbleness of the big man to the small man Potente. And then Nelson just hacking it inside 50. Irons showed good awareness. He couldn't quite hang on. And again, the football close to the boundary line. Both sides will want to see this over and out. Sinclair is the man who's wrapped up by Manning. He'll be balled up.
One of the highlights for me today has been those physical clashes one-on-one. Manning's been in a lot of them, obviously, but both teams are just really cracking in. There's a lot on the line.
So Rizal stayed down. Could have almost got a free kick. Still very physical. Through came Maruzic. His hand pass was meant for Mellington. That came unstuck. It's a real scramble at the moment. Potente got a hand pass into open space. Manuel off the deck. Falling over there with Stack, who hasn't had much of a day. Moody, likewise, got it off to Reimers, a high kick into space. How will it bounce? Pretty well for Stack, who was clever with his tap, tried to get it bounce down to Florio, went back in after it, ran into all sorts of trouble. Shannon picked up the footy, gave it to Maruzic, to Brown, caught in a tackle, but got it back to Sean Maruzic, who swings it across his body. Gee, Cody Manning fell awkwardly, came down to Sinclair to Smith, and Smith kicked for touch, and it's gone over the line and out of bounds on the full. You talk about the one-on-ones. There's been a lot of niggle happening between two players who've been on each other all day. Anthony Salukas and Jared Morton. They've been at it either in play or behind the play just about for the entire first half, and for whatever there has been of this quarter. Here's Sinclair close to the line, in fact close to us. It'll be thrown in once more. So the umpire's having plenty of work to do in this third quarter. The rain has abated. In fact, I think it might have almost stopped. Coonan jostling with Rizal. He's obviously been called upon to do some ruck work in the absence of Leyendeckers. Coonan tried to knock it and then flicked it out toward Black. Pushing him out the way was Dean White. Dean White gets the kick along the line, but it ends up with Brown again. Brown floats it. Tunbridge punches it. Nelson picks it up. 32 possessions last week, a bit quieter today. 4 players in a collision going for the footy, and a bit of a push, a bit of a shove. The umpire said nothing in that, and at left half forward for West Perth, a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, there's been a lot of physicality on Anthony Salukas, and that's what he's got to do. He attacks the ball then, splits the pack. That's all he can control. It's a really good contest.
Rizal and Coonan. Nelson front and square. Just didn't get the purchase on the kick. Hunt was over it. Nelson pushed in the back, could have got a free kick, in fact. Nothing doing, and Hunt was thrown out of there, and so the free kick will go his way.
No score after 10.5 minutes, Alex.
No, after we had 12 goals combined for the second term. So Matthew Hunt, just his 7th game of WAFL football to date. 21 years of age. He goes down the line, big flight at the back by Daniel Hunt, and he fists it out of play. Throwing near the interchange gates.
Just can't get it past the middle of the ground at the moment. And West Perth, as we said, would be really happy with this contest the way it's going at the moment. And you feel like that next goal, if it comes for them, will be crucial, and Perth would be happy if they get the next one too. They'd feel like they're right back in it, I'd reckon.
Short throw in, great strength by McInnes. Open the path for Smith. Onto that left. He hits Remus. Can he turn and go and find some space? He's got to bang it long. In hope. Bevan one-on-one. He couldn't quite mark, but he can soccer it through. He's missed. A behind. First score of the third term is a minor one.
First real flow we've seen in the game. Long kick by Remus. Take the mark, turn quickly.
Brown to Black. Further afield to Salisic, the captain. Tedesco, the vice-captain, is off. And, of course, Perth without their Tedesco this afternoon with a serious injury as well. Poor kick from Salisic, but it ended up with Jones. His disposal wasn't good. Leeson with it now. And a very short pass to Dean White. Had a good season. So Dean White looking for Rizzo. Over the top of him was Hunt. Gordon, solid again. Rizzo picks the ball up, gives it off then to Leeson, who tapped it pretty cleverly to Jacobs. The blind kick straight down the throat of Andrew Strike. Now he's going to pick a man out. He's got Kerr at left half back, all on his own. Thought about going on. A sustained lead comes from Fowler. That's the way the kick goes. Well done, however, by Kane. I beg your pardon, that's O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan now gives it to Hodge. Hodge straightens up, steadies, goes looking for Stack. Just managed to mark in front of Strike, who was right on hand. Now he's too far out to score. He's right up on the point of the centre square. In fact, as you can see there, he's beyond that.
He likes his chances.
Well, looks as though he's going to go with a deliberate kick. I don't know about it. Runs in, sends it on its way. Towering kick, in fact. My error, he was well within range. But it's gone through for the minor score. But at least the Demons are attacking the goal front.
Very similar. We saw a goal kick there earlier in the game from exactly the same spot. So obviously can score from just outside 50 at that end.
Brando himself over the top to Daniel Hunt. Just cruising down the outer flank. Goes down the line, hoping for Fowler. Beats him and Kane out of play.
I've mentioned the windsock before, Darren, but it's really been hanging limp for most of the afternoon. So scoring can be done at either end of the ground. There's no doubt about it.
I wonder if it's full of water.
Well, that could be it.
There's a bit of a deluge to start this term. Those couches might need drying later on today. Hodge around the body. Attacking at Manzoni. Black got in his way almost, but Manzoni kept coming. Gordon has been involved in this third term towards Salisic. Oh, that was brave from O'Sullivan just to get a touch in. It's been socket inside 50 by Manning. Irons getting back, was taken high by Salukas.
Wouldn't be unhappy with that, Billy Monahan, though. It was great pressure by Manning and a great chase by Salukas. Just gave away the free kick.
Irons finds Manuel. Thought about going on with it. Really didn't have anywhere to go forward of himself, so he waits for the backup to come from Kane. Bit of a fumble. Here's O'Sullivan. Now O'Sullivan has got a man in Sketcher who may have just come on through the interchange gates. Plays on around Kerr. This is looking pretty good for the Demons. Oh, just the half volley too much for Rizzo. Couldn't take it. Patenti went through his legs. Picked up down there now by Hunt, who gave it to Rizzo off the side of the boot into the pocket. Rodder put a fist into it. After it goes Shannon. And again, Bill Monahan wouldn't be too displeased with that. He couldn't control the wet footy. But they have forced a boundary, throwing it right full forward for Perth.
Rodder, Hunt, Jordan Jones have all been good in the air, haven't they, with their physicality, getting the ball over the boundary then.
Coonan worked hard to get the tap. Here's a chance now for Florio. Kicked the ball straight up in the air, and was there a push? There was a push against Paul Bevan. He might be just becoming a little bit frustrated. That time into the back of Andrew Strike. Let's have a look at it there. And there was enough of a nudge there to convince the umpire. So Strike now called to play on. He switches play. Brown, ever so reliable, gathered the footy. Ray Bartholomew in the centre circle created for him, and Bartholomew can play on. Bartholomew, long and high. Crisp, dealt with by Irons. Oh, it goes down there to Crisp again. He got it from Jordan Jones. Crisp snaps on goal, and that is a great opportunistic goal by the West Perth small man. He got support. He's now got 3 goals for the afternoon, and you can see it hasn't been an easy afternoon in the office for him. But after 2 behinds by Perth at the 16-minute mark, Darren, of the third quarter, the first goal, and it goes to the Falcons.
And Ray Bartholomew happy to just get it inside 50 to that one-on-one and back Crisp in, and really good by Jordan Jones to follow up and get that fist back forward on the ball. But again, it starts at half back, and the kick to Brown on the outer side where he was really clean with the wet ball, and he finds Bartholomew in the middle of the ground. That skill level from half back through the middle of the ground to be able to go coast to coast has been really important for West Perth today.
Lead back out to 34. They're taking control. Here the Falcons. Here's Nelson. He's done a lot of work in and under. He's got mud all over his arms and legs, and he keeps on running. Hodge right there with Nelson. Hodge did well to keep it in. O'Sullivan had to give the little hand pass to White, and getting in the way was Kerr. It'll be a throw-in at the interchange gates.
The West Perth midfielders are really working hard, aren't they? Nelson just seems to have that second and third effort. Same with Black, same with Guadnan. And you know, to Perth's credit, they're staying with them. They're having a crack themselves.
Manuel could have been taken high. He fell to his knees. McInnes did well to spin out of trouble. And now Leeson can run onto it and parts the seas from 50. Winds up. It goes deep looking for Remus. Too far through for another behind. So 3 behinds to the Demons for the term, but the one crucial goal to the Falcons.
And you touch on it there. You're exactly right. Efficiency is crucial when you go inside 50. They've had more opportunities, Perth, but haven't been able to put it through the big sticks.
Jordan Jones cleans up well. Hand pass to Maruzic. He was dispossessed. Here's Hunt. Promising young player for the Demons. Gets plenty of height into it. Gee, West Perth's Hunt was spoilt by his own man, but Patenti is there. And in fact, it was Shannon, I should say. They look rather similar. The Shannon kick skids a couple of times and goes over the white line.
I think when it rains, there's a few boys that start to look very familiar when the hair's wet.
Hair, yep.
I've been having trouble picking a couple of them up myself.
33 points to margin. You know, I had to look a couple of times at Jordan Jones a moment ago because his blonde hair doesn't seem so blonde when it's wet. Jacobs won the tap. Then he gets the his second effort. He gathers the footy, goes very low to McInnes. Would have liked it a little bit higher, I reckon. Jolted clear of him. Manzoni's hand pass not terrific, but Salicic is there. Nelson, well, he missed with the socket attempt, allows Leeson in, putting a hand up was Stack, playing him closely right, Stack over the top of him. Wadman dives on the footy, tapped it then to young Shannon, and his kick over the back. Here goes Manzoni, short, Marusic all on his own. Now West Perth can set up from here, great kick to Salikas, but the wet ball straight through his fingers. Irons goes to Sinclair. And now Sinclair spots a man. In fact, there's a couple of them in the centre square. One of them, Julian Jacobs.
And the switch is on. O'Sullivan on the half volley. Good pick up. The little give in the Shepherd was good. Hodge. And now Matthew Hunt. He's got the option short. He puts it out in front of Stack. He couldn't hang on, but he kept his feet. And he slips away from his opponent. Feeds the hand pass in. It was too hot for Smith. At the back, Moody got stripped of it. Hunt came again. He lost it. And the Falcons can come away. Guadnan showing all that experience and composure. Lovely little kick for Black.
Perth throwing everything they can at West Perth at the moment. And West Perth holding up with their tackling and their ability to maintain some possession here.
Strike will be in the Sandover votes. He goes wide. Shannon. And look at the run now. Daniel Hunt getting forward of centre. A rare full-way forward. He touches it down. Short for Manning. That's a good grab. Clung onto the wet football. Too far out to score. As numbers flood back inside the 50. They go very high. Who can get underneath this? Millington in the box seat, getting back. Resolve, punching towards the boundary line. Crisp gets taken over and out. A push, in fact. So a free kick.
Yeah, a little bit silly by Fowler on that occasion. Didn't need to do that. There was going to be a boundary throw in. Although it was not overdone, it was there.
Yes, it was certainly a deliberate push, so you can see the clock, 20 and a half minutes gone. Morton with the free kick. Sends it up to the wing. West Perth in front by Maruzic, but Perth now can emerge. Kick further afield down there by Sinclair. They've got it to the half-forward line. Now, what can they do? Moody's had a quiet game. He kicks goalward, but wouldn't you know it again? Demons desperately in need of majors, and they're getting behinds.
I think Moody was trying to actually look for Stack on the run then and miskicked it. I'd like to think he was doing that. Stack had about 5 to 6 metres on his opponent, then running goal side.
Brown with the long ball. Resolve fists it over Marusic. Bartholomew was front and square. He lost it. Here's Strike. Keeps running hard at it and gets rewarded. Put his head over the footy and gets the free kick.
He's been brilliant today, Andrew Strike.
He drives it down the outer side, hoping for Black at the back, who used his body well but couldn't complete the mark, and Jacobs had the awareness to get back and push it out of bounds.
I know I said it earlier in the game, but you're watching Andrew Strike. He is another level on this football ground. He probably deserves another chance at AFL level, I think, with the way he kicks the footy and his physicality and his run.
So 32 points the margin. It's quite a bit in these wet, slippery conditions. Bartholomew lowermost on the pack.
Well, contrast, Phil. 12 goals second term, just 1 goal here in this third.
It's remarkable, isn't it? The conditions having a big say in that. Kerr had it. He was decked. Chance now for Hodge. No clear disposal from him nor from Manuel. The Falcons just getting in there in the numbers, closing it all up and really frustrating every attempt of the Demons. A couple of Demons preparing to come back onto the ground. Sketcher gets his hands on the footy, but taken in a good tackle by Marusic, and the umpire is holding the ball.
Been impressive, Marusic.
Yeah, he has been. And as the umpire said, you had prior opportunity. He certainly did. He shaped a hand pass. The tackle was applied. Free kick paid, and well, it should have been. Off the hands of the pack, O'Sullivan, he'll be very satisfied to see the safety of the boundary line.
Rodder coming off for a rest, and some of his work at half-back's been very good today for the big man. He's running very well.
Yeah, they really have, to a man, done their job this afternoon. Rizal doing some ruck work pretty effectively. Here's Sketcher. Hand pass. Gee, it lacked definition. Black was allowed into the contest. Here's Sinclair to Jacobs. Now Julian Jacobs gets the kick in. Falcons have got the numbers. Strike was in front but couldn't complete the mark. Manzoni did well and got a fair piece of the footy, kicking it across his body. Coonan was up. Black got the hand pass off there to Kerr, close to the boundary line but still alive. Fowler keeps his feet, overwhelmed by the numbers that the Demons have there. Kane got a hand pass. Eventually it came to Alistair Smith. He kicked straight back to Strike. Dispossessed. Bevan. Good effort by him, but he hand pass struck to Marusic, if you don't mind, who gave it to Strike. Strike up toward Mellington, who left it behind. It's a slippery footy. Now Sinclair goes short, and a good clean mark has been taken by Leeson. To Florio. 24 minutes have gone. Demons controlling it. Stack, they need a big lift from him. He's a long way from goal. He's marked at right half back.
Sinclair providing the option. And I thought he had enough of it. The umpire said no. Daniel Hunt providing the pressure. Tunbridge trying to spin out of trouble. Holding the ball. Great tackle, Stephen Brown. And 50, Tunbridge just tapped it away as we see the tackle again. Terrific desperation from Brown to bring down Tunbridge.
Undisciplined to hit the ball away, and after the efforts of Sinclair in the last few minutes, who's just been cracking in and trying to really, and Smith, that sort of lets you down that all of a sudden you've got a shot at goal here for Brown, who will kick the distance from here. He's a very nice kick, but very undisciplined, and, you know, really impressed with the way Smith, Sinclair, those Perth players around the footy have been really battling hard.
Just the 1 goal, and this is his 18th game this season. Kick on its way, looks very good. Brown gets his first, and the lead ticks out to 38 points.
It's just undisciplined, isn't it? You know, and I don't want to be too harsh on the young fella, but, you know, your club's trying to make the final four. You're battling really hard. It is a free kick. He probably thinks he's over the line, but you never give up on the play. Great tackle by Brown, and to just realise that it's a free kick and hit the ball away, that's 50 every day of the week.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a severe penalty, isn't it? Because it took Brown from right on centre wing to a goal-kicking position. He made no mistake about it, as you predicted, Darren. And that is a telling goal for the Falcons. They're going to be really, really hard to track down from here. Bevan's been moved into the starting four. But again, Shannon, no, that was Patini on that occasion. He kicks it forward. Mellington was held without the footy. Doesn't matter, they've got the advantage. Marusic kicks to the lead of Salukas, who just timed his run beautifully, then doubled back on Norton and caught him out of position. And it was a very well-weighted kick by Marusic, who needs a pat on the back for that.
We've seen that a couple of times today, haven't we? And getting those angles right, the West Perth forwards, and being able to put it to the spot where the kick makes the player get there. That was a brilliant kick. I've been very impressed with him. And Anthony Salikas has laid that a little bit to the right, usually a reliable kick. But Marusic, he just seems to have that composure, makes good decisions. Big body, and he's having impact today. He's a quality young player.
Yeah, there you see it in replay. Just so well balanced, and he knew exactly what he was doing. And knew what was in going through the mind of Anthony Salikas, and here's his immediate opponent, Jared Morton.
He goes long, hoping for the target of Jacobs, who stood tall. Chop of the arms. Oh, and a stray fist from Coonan.
That's fine, Julian. You got the kick. Take it now.
He said that's fine.
Play on.
Must have been in the chest. Jacobs to Smith.
Play on.
Dying stages of this, the third term. And the Falcons well and truly in control, and that kick's well wide and out of bounds on the full.
There has been a difference in skill level today, there's no doubt about that. West Perth have been able to find the player more effectively, more often with their foot skills, whereas Perth have turned it over.
Salisic, go high to half forward. Big fly Marusic, front and square was crisp, kicks inside the 50. Manuel getting back. Read the play pretty well there, filled the hole. He'll go back to the wing. Hoping for Sketcher to kick again, well wide of the mark, and it bounces out of play for a throw-in.
Although you can't see the full screen at home, there's no doubt that West Perth's positioning and their ability to be able to find the right spots and keep the pressure on the ball means the ball doesn't go past halfway as much as Perth would like it. So full credit to the way they've been able to set up defensively around the ball. And you can see here big numbers around the footy. West Perth again would be very happy with that. If Perth can try and spread this, it will give them some chance to be able to score.
Coonan in ruck. He has his say about it. Florio, clean with a handball. Oh, I think that was Leeson who was in the end. Clean handball, I said, but he was sold into a bit of bother. That took one high for the team and earns a free kick. So he goes short to Dean White. But really they need to try and get some run in their play at the moment, the Demons. They need to open it up, find a way to do so. Going short is not going to tell on the scoreboard. O'Sullivan, another short kick, but he will find the target in Florio, lays it off. That's the run they need. Leeson plays the game, gets the hand pass off and away they go. Alistair Smith to Brennan. Long kick from Brennan. And I think, no, it's just a behind. Touched, grazed the post by the look of it.
Straight into it.
And there we'll get a pretty good look at it as the ball has already been kicked back into play, Alex.
Yeah, so second behind of the term for Stack as Jones found his target on the outer side in Shannon, and now here's Black. And that's the siren for three-quarter time. And West Perth have established a near insurmountable lead in these wet conditions. 2-0. The Falcons way in that third term, and they lead by 38 points at the last change. Nelson just hacking it inside 50. Irons showed good awareness, he couldn't quite hang on. And again, the football close to the boundary line, both sides will want to see this over and out. Sinclair is the man who's wrapped up by Manning. He's going to bang it long, in hope. Bevan, one-on-one. He couldn't quite mark, but he can soccer it through. He's missed. A behind. First score of the third term is a minor one. It's been sockered inside 50 by Manning. Irons getting back, was taken high by Salikas.
Well, under inclement conditions, the Falcons only kicked 2 goals in that quarter, but importantly they were able to keep the Demons goalless in that term. They've set up a 38-point lead, so Perth have to kick 7 goals just to get their noses in front, Darren. In these sort of conditions, that is going to be very difficult in any case, but the way West Perth are playing at the moment, they've stitched up second spot, and they really know where they're headed at the moment. They're dictating terms all over the ground.
Yeah, and I think we saw the pattern early. There was a couple of great smothers early in the game, the tackling pressure, the way they've been able to work together, and I think you mentioned their experience across the ground with how mature their group is now, but some of the young kids are really participating well for West Perth, and their competitiveness is brilliant, but you can't see really a way back for Perth here if the game stays the way it did big numbers around the contest, a lot of pressure, and impressive second and third efforts. And I think the efficiency is the other thing that's been really important for West Perth. When they've gone inside 50 at times, they've been able to score. They've been able to go from one end of the ground to the other.
I can't see a way back for the Demons, Alex. I mean, they're being West Perth are playing the conditions better, but they're being beaten by a better side at the moment.
They certainly are, and Darren mentioned it during the term. The defensive setup, once they lock it inside their forward 50 across the middle of the ground from the Falcons, has been exceptional. And the 3 or 4 times they got through that and over the back, they didn't capitalise. They kicked 3 behinds early in that third term, and the lead just slipped away.
Yeah, well, as I said, only 2 goals kicked in the term, but let's update the goal scorers for the Falcons. Crisp has joined Fowler on 3 goals for the Falcons. Kerr, Brown, Wadman, Salikas and Coonan. They've got 10 goal scorers altogether, West Perth. And for the Demons, a couple of goals each to Bevan and Reamers, but they did not add to their tally in that third quarter. But certainly Alex Smith added to his tally of possessions. He's now up to 18, 14 to Leeson. We've mentioned Hodge, he's in and under and doing it pretty tough today. 13 possessions, a dozen to O'Sullivan, 10 to Tunbridge. He's unfortunately given away a couple of free kicks and a 50-metre penalty. Manuela's had acquitted himself pretty well. Bevan's found it pretty tough, but managed to get a couple. And Dean White, as always, has found a bit of the footy. But for the Falcons, they've been very well served by Andrew Strike. 5 marks across half-back, 16 very good possessions. Black has had 14 and used it very well. Crispy's been invaluable, especially around goal where he's kicked 3. Kerr has done well with 11 possessions, 12 to Stephen Brown and a goal, if you don't mind. He benefited from the 50-metre penalty given away by Tunbridge. Maruzic has done well, 11 possessions, 12 to Guadnan and Manzoni, another impressive player for the Falcons. And they continue to dominate. Darren, when you look at some of the major indicators.
Yeah, the massive one there is inside 50s. You know, when you go inside 50, 15 more times with more efficiency. And the hit-outs is a massive one too. You feel a bit for Perth there. You know, they've lost 2 ruckmen really today and have to go up against Coonan, who, you know, under duress was able to continue the trend there. And, you know, to have 7 more centre breaks mean the ball is going inside your forward 50. And when it does go in there, West Perth have been able to hold it in with their defensive setup.
It's been a tough day for the Demons. It's going to be a very, very tough, long last quarter. And we go inside their huddle, and here's former Peel coach Trevor Williams.
Stalled them, we negated them, right? So we get some confidence from them. What we now need to do is make sure, start the last quarter, really tight. Don't let them slide in behind us, okay? Keep the game in front of you, right? And go hard and strong. Go hard and strong. Keep along the grass and keep contest after contest after contest. We've actually frustrated them a little bit, all right? We've dried them up, right? So make sure we actually keep closing down their space and keep keeping that simple. That's the objective for this quarter, okay? And then as we get some momentum
They've worked hard all
going,
day, the Demons, Nicky, but it's pretty hard to be optimistic with a quarter still to play and a 38-point deficit.
Yeah, it definitely is, Phil. They also address the Demons, that is, that they'll try and use the ground closest to the commentary side rather than on the other side where West Perth seem to be moving it quite well. So they will be looking to move the ball a bit closer down near you guys. And also West Perth, despite being so far ahead, they actually focused more on their defensive structures in this quarter huddle. And especially in the defence there, they're looking to put an extra player at that last bit just before the goals, so the ball can't sneak in these wet conditions.
Yeah, one player who's handled the wet conditions pretty well, Shane Nelson. He had 32 possessions last week against whoever they played last week, but he was very, very good player. Peel Thunder it was, but he hasn't been quite so prolific this afternoon, but in the midfield group, he has been a good contributor again this afternoon, Shane Nelson.
Yeah, he's had, you know, he averages 26 possessions a game. Now, at this level for a young player, that's outstanding. And his work rate, we talked about it, and you're seeing it in the vision here. He's second and third efforts. He doesn't have one effort. He has 3 and 4. And when you do have those, you are the chance to, you know, rack up a lot of the ball, and he uses it well.
Let's go to Bill Monaghan, who's now with Nicky Brown.
Bill, you've been a player down from pretty much the get-go. How would you assess the players' efforts today in these conditions?
Oh, they've been fantastic. It really threw us out. We picked the 7th defender, and we're trying to fabricate one through mids and forwards, and that's not always easy to do. So I think their efforts have been fantastic, and we just need to do it for another quarter.
Now, you've been talking to the guys as soon as they come off the bench here. Is it easier to coach from the sidelines than the box?
It is in regard to that, but it's not always the best view when it's right on the other side. You don't get a good aerial view of it. But no, it's actually something I don't do very often. So it's been a bit different, and it allows me to talk directly to them.
Great, thanks and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks to Bill. In the other matches being played, Peel Thunder, well, they're hanging on to Swan District. Swan's just starting to draw away a little bit. Swans, of course, still fighting for a place in the top 4. And so too are East Perth at Medibank Stadium. Subiaco have been pretty gritty. They're still in the match, but again, the Royals just starting to draw away from their co-tenants there. So those other matches, Darren, looking as though they're going the way as expected, and looks as though this one just might be as well.
Yeah, definitely, and you know, it is a great time of year where every game, every involvement counts at this time of year, and you just need to keep going. And East Perth, you know, are putting their best foot forward at the moment.
So 38 points the gap. The Falcons well in control, going to the right of screen here in the last quarter. McInnes couldn't get boot to ball there. Gordon at the bottom of the pack, as we've expected to see him so often.
Great leadership by him today, isn't it? The way he set the example with effort.
McInnes, two-handed palm down. Gordon read it well. Black spreads it wide. Foot race here, and Crisp has been very impressive. 3 goals in the wet. Handball down the line, looking for territory. It'll be tossed in alongside the interchange gate.
And the other real positive for West Perth today is to see Jason Salisic running freely and well again, and the captain, and they need him up and about this time of year.
The only one with premiership experience in this side. Free kick must be to White. As Millington got around his neck. Not a lot of movement in front of him, just a sea of bodies. And he goes as long as he can. Brown coming across. Strike couldn't hang on for his 6th mark. Bartholomew was clean. Hunt. Manzoni. Clever kick for Black. He's got support in Brown. And a little kick round the corner was good. Nelson with 2 bites. Millington short down the line. He'll look a bit longer. Marusic. Big fly in front, off hands. Manning gave it to Black, who kept running out in front of Fowler. Good fist by Kane. Kane's done well, even though Fowler's kicked 3 goals today, Darren.
Yeah, he continues to really push hard, and you know, there was a couple of easy possessions there for West Perth, but Kane didn't let Fowler off the hook there, and was able to get it over the boundary line.
Boundary throw in front of the social rooms. Coonan from behind, soccering it off the ground. Manning. And Crisp, not 15. Well, he'll be disappointed with that because he took the mark on his chest and was saddled by Irons. No free kick, no mark. So ball up, Coonan reaching over the top of McInnes. Gee, that looked like a high tackle. Play on's the call. Nelson did well. Got it to Black. Black a bit of a check side into the pocket. Nelson lost, I beg your pardon, Crisp lost his footing, and Irons has taken the mark for the Demons in defence. He kicks it in front there of Sinclair. Manning with him. Sinclair, he's got a couple to beat now as Fowler emerges onto the scene, and well done by Cody Manning, just applied enough pressure and Sinclair just couldn't break clear.
Yeah, and that striking distance to the, you know, Perth have got to switch the footy and go at it, but full credit to West Perth, close enough to keep the pressure on and get another boundary throw in, and they'd be very happy with that.
Coonan, McInnes, Mellington just couldn't find it. Julian Jacobs put it onto his left boot, tumbles it forward about 25 metres. Bevan closest to it, but just couldn't get it to him. You can see what Paul Bevan's trying to get involved, trying to get his hands on the footy, but he's been played very well this afternoon. He just hasn't been able to have the impact that he normally does.
Yeah, no, full credit to Rodder, and you know, you do need to play someone who's a bit bigger on Bevan because he is such a marking target.
Coonan with the left hand, back towards the boundary line. Another throw in, and West Perth will be happy with that. As Nicky mentioned at 3/4 time, they're quite content to play that outer side of the ground with the breeze blowing across the ground. We lost the footy again under the cars out there.
Looks like we'll have enough light anyway, and these cars won't have to put on their lights this afternoon.
Save a few car batteries. Third man up was Jacobs. Then Leeson spiked it forward, but only as far as Manzoni. His kick goes very high. Who can mark? Salikas flew highest and got a push. No advantage.
I think that's a fair decision. Once you leave the ground, if you're pushed, it's very dangerous, and that's a good decision. These two have had a ding-dong battle all day.
Morton's done a good job. Salikas just places it into the corridor, and Stack sitting in the hole takes an uncontested mark. Well, you wouldn't have expected that. He goes looking for room as the kick a little long. Jones at the back couldn't hang on. Numbers here with the Falcons at ground level. Nelson, Bartholomew, Brown. There's a player down at the front edge of the centre square. I think it's Jones. Meantime, Nelson hits the chest of Manning.
Might have been winded, Alex, I think.
Hopefully just winded. You don't want to see any players getting injured this time of year.
Manning has tried to kick the cover off the footy, and he's kicked it right off the side of his boot, and it's gone over the line and out of bounds on the full. Yeah, I think he's just had the wind knocked out of him in that collision there.
Yeah, I don't think he's hurt his shoulder or anything in that fall. I think it's just the wind taken out of him, and he'll be sucking in the deep ones at the moment, and he'll be okay.
So Hodge with the footy for the Demons. Jacobs right in front of the interchange area. Jacobs gets his kick in. Up to centre half forward. Again, the Falcons have got numbers. Shannon to Brown to Potente. He puts the left boot into it. Jacobs was there for Perth. Hunt goes to ground. Sketches hand pass. He got it to Rizal. He does likewise to get it to Smith. Puts it onto the left boot pretty well. Kicks it up to centre half forward. Bevan attacks it hard. Gathers the footy. Gives it to Florio. His hand pass goes astray. Oh, well done by Manzoni under pressure to get it to Shannon. He likewise got it to Bartholomew, and away go West Perth. Bartholomew backing himself in on the wet turf. A couple of bounces. Goes to Fowler, and at full stretch it sticks. Fowler kicked 3 goals for the afternoon. Too far out to score. Long and high. Nearly a chest mark taken by Marusic. Still involved out there, Jordan Jones. Emerging with it, though, is Sinclair. But he was already, I suspect, over the boundary line. So there'll be a throw-in. I can tell you that Paul Bevan, with his 2 goals, he's creeping ever so close to Josh Smith in the race for the Bernie Naylor medal, because Josh Smith at Medibank Stadium hasn't kicked a goal this afternoon. I suspect he may have been injured. He's only had 3 disposals in that game, but certainly goalless. So only 3 goals separating Josh Smith on 52 and Paul Bevan now on 49.
I might have got it wrong with Jordan Jones. He has been carried off the ground. He might have copped one on the hip pointer or something like that as he limped off.
Oh, there is hardly anything more painful than one on the hip pointer, but hopefully he will recover and get back into the action.
Meantime, the footy is with Marusic, just taking the mark at half forward, and he goes in short. It's been cut off by Smith. He was searching for Fowler. And Smith off a step. Jacobs has worked his way into the game. Oh, gave it to Smith, ran into a couple of Falcons and gave it up. Millington will go onto his favoured left and make them pay. Millington gets his second, and the lead extends to 44.
And Perth again, they're trying to make something happen, but such is the pressure of West Perth. They're playing this short game at the moment. You cannot afford to turn the ball over. You look at the red jumpers in the screen here after this this handball to play on. All of a sudden there's 3-4 jumpers around, and Mellington doesn't miss many of those, and that's a great finish by him. And the result looks well and truly gone today here at Moora, but at least we want to see Perth really fight it out, and that'll be important for the rest of their season.
Yeah, they haven't kicked a goal for a long, long time now. Have you got the actual time in the second quarter, Alex?
Around about the 28-minute mark, Phil.
Yeah, OK, it was quite deep in the term, but it just has been a long time between drinks, so to speak. Coonan's still jumping high. He's playing with a lot of energy. Now, it's going to be a free kick to Millington, who was held, obviously, when not in possession. Looks for movement, comes from Salikas, got away from Morton on this occasion. Salikas corralled there by Sinclair, releases a hand pass to Bartholomew. He elects to sink the slipper into it, the blind kick, and Rizal has taken the mark despite the efforts of Morton, who's his teammate. Rizal has tried hard in a number of capacities, defender, pinch-hitting ruckman. He goes to Sinclair. Oh, Sinclair got it off to Kane, coming across his bows and affecting the smother was Potente. Now Bartholomew got the hand pass off to Manning. He kicks to the hot spot. O'Sullivan, Salicic pushes O'Sullivan out of the action, has a second attempt. Close to the line, his hand pass was knocked back over the boundary line. And so the Demons under enormous pressure have to contend with the boundary throw-in. And there's that great smother. We've mentioned those 1%ers, Darren, on a number of occasions this afternoon. They really have paid dividends, and they do, don't they, in pressure matches?
Yeah, definitely smothers and tackles, and just those efforts by West Perth is a big reason why the score is what it is.
Hodge with the clearance. Brown with a fist falling to ground. Black. Oh, Hunt. That's one of the worst kicks he would have had in his career.
Yeah, that's a blooper.
Almost off the ankle bone. The free kick to the Demons towards half forward. Strike with strength. He just shoved Tunbridge aside, and the football's out of play.
Haven't seen him be beaten today, Andrew Strike, and the way he's been able to just get the ball going straight back the other way has been brilliant. We saw him beat Bevan in a one-on-one earlier in the game, which resulted in a goal at the other end not long after. He's been excellent today.
McInnes won it down to the front. Gordon sliding in and collecting, holding his body well, but he gave it up. McInnes, Hunt, and then Smith keeps battling on. He goes inside 50 again. Strike keeps his feet and Tunbridge goes to ground. Hunt plays the percentages. Brown's been very good. And then Matthew Hunt flying across, couldn't hang on. Millington claimed he was held. Got it off to Gordon, out in front of Salikas, and he had the arms chopped by Morton. That battle continues to rage on. Salikas drives it down the line. It's a good kick just over the head of Marusic. He's running back with a flight, and he made Rizal earn it, and he stole a footy from him. Good smother from O'Sullivan to prevent the Falcons advancing.
Nearly got out the other side then. It was a good contest here, and he strips the ball, and it's just about away, but a good smother. And we have seen a lot of good smothers today, which, any young footballers out there watching, they're still such an important part of the game.
Coonan down to Marusic, if you don't mind, an unlikely combination. Bartholomew gives it off to Potenti. Short passes come unstuck. Irons now spins out of trouble. Sinclair and Irons, the old 1-2, comes to O'Sullivan. Hand pass now to Bevan. Almost in the centre of the ground. Goes forward with a short pass. It's been marked by Tunbridge. He's a thumping kick. Puts it onto the left boot. Splays it out to the left. An opportunity gone begging. It's still a long time since the Demons have registered a major on the scoreboard.
The right option there with an open goal square, just didn't quite get it right. Good movement by Perth through the middle of the ground, and geez, I admire Smith from Perth, the way he just keeps fighting so hard for his team.
Great kick by Strike to find Manzoni. That was the 6th behind since quarter time for the Demons. Manzoni takes on Leeson. His hand pass was a little poor. Set a task for Cripps, and he's been stripped of it. Great tackle by Hunt. And now Leeson can send it back to the 50. Tunbridge has men on everywhere, and Moody's in the corridor. And he's marked within range, given that goal he kicked earlier today.
Yeah, he needs to take control of this, Moody. It was a great centering kick, and he just needs to go back and make sure he makes good contact here. Distance shouldn't be an issue for him.
He thumped one from 55, a set shot in the opening term. He's had a pretty quiet day otherwise. This from 52. Got a little close to the man on the mark, and he's got under it as a result. And it's been fisted through for another behind.
Just clear out. Do not take any kick, Andrew.
Margin at 42 points.
Brown going with the spiral torpedo punt in these conditions, a bit risky. Didn't quite work for him. Hunt got a hand pass from Dean White there, but it wasn't clean. Salisic, Gordon, hand pass there from Sinclair, but it went straight to Manzoni. Manzoni finally was able to find a teammate. He got off to Shannon, who kicks it to the half-forward line. Marusic made something of nothing. That ball wasn't his. He just stole it or found the ball in his hands. He kicks goalward. And I think he was just so surprised by that strange chain of events that ended up with him getting the footy that he missed a rather easy shot.
He's mercurial, isn't he? He just dropped the ball not quite right then and didn't get the right spin on the ball, but he has an impact.
Hodge to Kane. He's battled on. Good duel with Fowler. Hodge kept running. He hands over to Smith, who's going to need to kick quickly. Great smother. Black coming across his bow and is forced to turn over. Kerr gave it up though. Hodge and Smith combining again to try and make amends towards the wing. Tunbridge and Sketcher just got their wires crossed. Hunt tried to play for in the back. Strike was a little crude there on Manuel. And he'll take it and go. He's got space inside the 50. The kick's out in front of Tunbridge. What a great kick by Manuel to the fat side, and Tunbridge runs onto it, and he can line them up from 35 away.
Wasn't it a fantastic smother back here? But again, we've seen a couple of those kicks, and you can see when the player puts the ball to the space, as was done then to Tunbridge, it was put in exactly the right spot, and Rodder had no chance of getting a fist on that. And he needs to go back and kick this goal.
He kicked their first of the day. He leans back and he's pulled this badly to the right, another behind. They still haven't kicked a goal in this second half.
When you look at the scoreboard and you go 18 scoring shots to 20 for the amount of inside 50s, accuracy becomes very, very important. I know it's not the difference in the game, but maybe it does give Perth a chance to stay closer than they are.
Peel are getting closer to East Perth 2 down at Bendigo Bank Stadium. They've got their way back to 11 points. Over Swan Districts, I should say. Peel Thunder, 11 points behind Swan Districts. That would be a huge blow to Swan Districts. Massive kick in. Cleared the head there of Salisic. Ended up with Manning. Manning now kicks the ball quickly up to full forward. This has been a terrific transference of play. Irons under a lot of pressure. Seemingly got a high tackle. He got it off to Manuel, who's been a good player for the Demons. He was under pressure. The ball off the side of the boot. Favours Guadnan. Sheafs off a hand pass to Patente. Patente with the left boot. Shoots on goal, wrong side of the post.
It's a good play, isn't it? The long kick in these conditions. If it does squeeze out the back and the ball keeps that momentum going forward, it's very dangerous. And one-on-one inside forward 50. Then Fowler just need to keep his feet. Probably gave away a high free kick there away. He's a bit unlucky, to get away with that.
Oh, Morton's kicked a floater and it's ended up on the chest of Manuel.
You don't have to draw pictures.
No. Manuel will go, and Stack will get a run again, but he didn't use Manzoni as a step ladder this time, and Manzoni took the mark. He did very well. Wide for Salikas. He'll drive it long. Penetrating kick, deep. Millington used his body, and it spills out over the back. There's some time and space here for Patente, twisting and turning. He fishes it back inboard. Irons takes a couple on. Sinclair just kicks it out of the danger zone. Marusic has had a great afternoon. Salikas, Manzoni, Salikas again. And he just set it up. Salisic will have to fly early. Manuel flew in front of him, couldn't hang on. And the Demons have the numbers here. Sketcher got it from Jacobs. He can use O'Sullivan. Untidy kick though, looking for Bevan. And attacking it again was Strike. And again he got it off to Bartholomew. And again they mount another charge.
Black to Brown, back to Black. What a combination they have been. Blind kick though into McInnes. He was happy to give the hand pass off to Reimers, who really wasn't in a position to take it. Fortunately got a free kick. So Reimers to a one-on-one, looking there for Bevan. Strike right with him. Bevan soccers the ball along the ground. Shannon does well, the young man. Gets the hand pass off to Rodder, who then steps over his teammate. Tackled as he kicked, but he worked it along the boundary line. Here's a chance now for Hunt. High kick from one step for Hunt. And speak about Hunt to Hunt. West Perth's Hunt nearly took a screamer, not paid. Shannon got the hand pass from Brown. Sketcher picks it up off the ground. Gives it then to Hunt once more. That's the Demons Hunt. Bevan, low, but getting down low and taking the mark on his chest is Michael Florio.
They keep fighting, Perth. You've got to give them credit for that. They really have tried hard today. They've just been outclassed by West Perth.
They've come up against a side today that is going to acquit themselves really well in the finals, because they're really hitting some top form at the moment, West Perth.
Yeah, and a sign of that is watching average shot for goal.
So Michael Florio,
that one again.
They just cannot buy one at the moment. I'm sure that Lauren French down there is dying to wave two flags, but they cannot find the major opening. Another behind, and Nick Rodder to bring the ball back into play.
It's the ninth behind of the second half without a major. Oh, good grab by Crisp. Hasn't he played well? Guadnan keeps running. Goes long. Fowler, terrific mark in the hands, and he plays on. He's got runners breaking inside the 50. He's found Salikas. He can go on again, but he can go back and line them up and put a nail in the coffin.
Flick that to line, mate. You're standing right on it.
They've just been cleaner, haven't they, Phil?
They've been cleaner, and the thing about it is, you know, the paradox of what's missed at one end and jailed at the other end of the ground, it really does hurt.
He's got Chris threatening his goal-kicking title, Salikas, so this for his 32nd of the year, and he drills it. And Bill Monahan can be well satisfied. Argent stands at 48 points.
Well, 48 points, Alex. I mean, that is a real toweling up. Under these conditions, it's a bigger margin than what it actually seems there. But Guadnan getting it onto the boot there. Fowler in these conditions, he's taken some very good marks. And just the hard running. I mean, that's a lot of gut running by Anthony Salikas, isn't it? I mean, they're well and truly in control of the game, but they're just not happy with that. They've got second spot stitched up, but it's just the sign of a team that is in a good space at the moment, heading into the finals, really enjoying their footy. And this afternoon, just putting Perth, you know, one of the genuine candidates for a final spot, to the sword. Hard-working kick there from Leeson. It was touched off the boot. Manzoni's been good. Kerr. Hunt comes out. That's Dan Hunt for the Falcons, and he's happy to soccer the ball along the ground. A couple of Demons players there appealing for deliberate. I think they'll take anything at the moment, the Perth players. It's been a tough day for them. In their territory, playing in Moora, in front of a very, very healthy crowd here at the sports ground. McInnes, but it's soccered forward by Black. And Sinclair, the last player to touch it before it goes over the line out of bounds. A lot of those vehicles have been backed in. And that's the Perth coaches box. That's a tough place to be at the moment. Michael Broadbridge on the left of Damien McMahon, but they wouldn't be happy, you know. They've got East Perth next week, Claremont the week after, and they finish up with South Fremantle, so they've got a tough run home.
And this result won't help them one bit. Kerr throws his head over the footy.
It's a tough competition, isn't it? They've been outside the four twice this year. I think this is the second time for the year.
Well, I tell you what, Peel Thunder might even do them a favour. They've got to within a goal of Swan Districts.
Yeah, they've had some really good battles, Peel and Swan Districts. I think Peel have won one, Swan Districts have won one, and it only went to about 11 points last time they played.
Guadnan he had a terrific second half. Manning's pressure up forward has been sublime all day. He drives this deep in the hope of Nelson. It's off hands and through for a rush behind. 49 the gap.
Been really impressed with West Perth's foot skills today. You know, over long distances as well.
Searching kick into play, finds O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan wants to take Mellington on. Feeds the hand pass to Hunt. Short to Bevan, but on the scene again, affecting the spoil. Well done by Strike. The ball in dispute. Hunt for the Demons. Gives it to Bevan, the Demons skipper. Alistair Smith, certainly one of the Demons' best. Gets a floater up toward the half-forward line, trying to trap it there. Dan Hunt. McInnes into the action for the Demons. He's brought down to the weight of a tackle. Bartholomew got a hand pass away. Shannon copped a bit of a high one as he released a hand pass. It deflected to Rizal. He kicks it across his body. Marusic now being moved down into defence. He's been everywhere this afternoon. Stack beats him in the race to the footy, but the winner are the patrons in the bar area. They get to see a boundary throw in close up.
And Billy Monahan's had to do that all day, and he's done it very well. He's had to get different players to cover down back because of the injuries that have happened to Jones and Tedesco, and they've all gone down there and done the job.
Ali Smith again. Hand pass, Florio, shepherded by Hodge. Now Hodge is the target of Florio's hand pass, but it comes unstark. And again, that pressure, that implied pressure, the pressure by presence of the Falcons that has been apparent all day. They just halve so many situations as Peel Thunder have drawn level with Swan Districts. Wow.
Only 19 minutes gone too. And all the momentum down there at Bendigo Bank. Meantime, here at Moora, it's all the Falcons as Kerr goes down the line and plays for territory again. It'll be a throw-in right in front of the scoreboard, which, illuminated in the gloom here, has West Perth up by 49 points.
Yes, and you said it, Phil, before. The relentless pressure has been a really massive part of West Perth's performance today. They've continued to do it all day. Smothers, chases, tackles, hard ball gets, statistically all over them. But I don't think Perth could have tried any harder against them. I think they can hold their heads high from that effort, just need to clean up their efficiency and find a few more ball getters in the middle of the ground.
Black and the clearance from that stoppage. Sullivan's kept trying all day. He wants the boundary line, he finds. It was just that second term, really, wasn't it, Darren? 9 goals to 3. It blew the game open and gave them that impressive lead when the deluge came at the start of the third term, and they've never been headed.
And West Perth have that power run all over the ground. They're very even side, and when they are up and running, they can score really quickly.
Coonan, he's fought well again today. He's one of the elite ruckmen in the competition. Rizal touched off the boot towards half forward. Well gathered by McInnes. A floating ball inside 50. Can Stack get on the end of it? He does. He can carry the journey from here. He's got runners breaking into space, and he points to where he wants to go. In fact, he's faked everyone out. He goes to Florio. That was a good grab with a wet, greasy ball.
Very good grab, and well done by Stack too. Like, he could have had a shot from there from 50. He's been team oriented. He's hit up his teammate, and really, really good hands. And it'd be fair to say after probably 8 points in a row, is it? They were 7-3, was that right?
Yeah, 7-3.
7-3, so they definitely need to get one through the big sticks.
And Florio trying to do just that, and he's missed to the right. So he has now 13-7 this season in front of goal, and the Demons have kicked 10 behinds for the second half.
And Peel Thunder have hit the front.
Brown's going to go long up the middle again. That's a massive drop punt.
Terrific in these conditions. Morton put a double fist into it, but it landed with Salicic, who gave it into Manzoni. Well, he kicks it into the path of Fowler. If this sits up for him, trouble here for the Demons. Fowler's inside 50. He straightens up, kicks it on its way. And look at that. Just the opposite from what's been happening at the other end of the ground. It streams up the Falcons' end. Fowler's now kicked his fourth. And some of their most prominent spectators who have been around for a long, long time, Darren, as you could well testify, on their feet and really enjoying this slaughter at the moment.
Yeah, and look, it's reward for effort. Fowler gets on the end of that. He's already kicked 3. That's his 4th for the game. He's worked really hard. You know, the West Perth forwards have put enormous pressure on, and he did enjoy that, and why wouldn't you? He looked very weary as he kicked that ball. The long stride was there, but two times in a row they've gone from coast to coast from long kick-ins.
Yep. You know, I go into the rooms every week. There are not too many more relaxed players preparing for a game than Matt Fowler for any team.
He's kicked 4 2 weeks in a row, and that equals his best at WAFL level. He's done it 3 times now. He did it in his first WAFL game against East Perth in round 3 last year. So the margin 54 points. This has been a very impressive display from the Falcons. They've won it in fine style. Shannon around the corner. Florio caught, couldn't get it off. And again, the Falcons in number, just waxing it. Although Bartholomew put his man under pressure there, but Nelson was held on to without the footy, and so he'll get the free kick. And we go short. In the gloom, Shannon's been good. Off the left. Drills it in the direction of Salikas, who keeps presenting in this second half. Smith's fought hard, but he's run out of room. Will be a throw-in.
You're right, Alex. Shannon has been good, but I think isn't that the case with the Falcons? They've all been good. I mean, there is not one player who has not done his job this afternoon.
I was just about to say the same thing, Phil. Exactly. That, you know, Patenti and Menzone and you know, Shannon and Marusic, all those players that aren't the big name players,
Rodder,
have all been able to contribute really well. And we know you're going to get the best out of Strike. You're going to get a really good game out of Gordon and Hunt. But it's those lesser lights that have assisted, you know, Black and Nelson around the football, and Kernan, that have been really good today.
Mellington a little toe poke forward. White. Through comes Manning. He's been good. Kernan around the body. Inside 50, or just outside, in fact, when Salikas charged onto the footy, and Millington gathered the spillage and goes to Fowler, and he can line up for a career best 5.
And it's a bit like we look at Fremantle at the moment, the Fremantle Dockers, and we just admire the way that everyone plays their role. And when you get to finals football, this sort of pressure and what's been happening with West Perth today, if everyone contributes, it really does give you the best chance of winning. And they'd be getting a lot of confidence in what they're doing. And Fowler lining up for his fifth goal of the game. He struck it well. The umpire hasn't moved, and that's gone straight over his head.
Wonderful way to finish for Matt Fowler. 5 goals. That's his best at WAFL level, having come across from Southport in Queensland. And the margin now is an even 10 goals.
And we think back a couple of weeks, watch West Perth play South Fremantle and you wouldn't know that they're the same side. And, you know, credit to Billy Monaghan, but also to the leaders at West Perth that have obviously got together and said, as we watch Fowler kick this goal, he just strikes it really well. Sat back on a little bit, but came off really well. And the fact that they've been able to regroup and come out, and this will be their third win in a row from that, finding some really good form at this time of the year.
You saw that graphic, 5 goals straight to Matt Fowler in these conditions. That's a stellar effort. Look at the pick up there from Kerr, who gathered it brilliantly and sends that centre clearance in just 2 seconds. It's gone from the centre of the ground straight down into the forward pocket. And that's been one of the hallmarks of West Perth this afternoon. As their contented supporters look on, they've had, Darren, 20 centre breaks to Perth's 8.
Yeah, that's an amazing stat. Well done by the men in the middle of the ground for that stat.
And Koonan's been crucial. Does some ruck work, gathers the foot, he snaps it over his shoulder and comprehensively misses everything.
And the forward structure of West Perth has enabled them to go straight at goal all game. You know, you've basically had Fowler 1 out inside 30 for a lot of the game.
There's the siren. The Falcons have made a statement. They won 7 of their last 8. Their 13th of the year. And they have sewn up second spot on the WAFL ladder, and they've done it in style here in Moora. They've won by 60 points, 18-7, 115 to the Demons, 7-13, 55, and they've kicked 15 goals to 3 after they trailed by 7 points at quarter time.
Well, Bill Monaghan, he would be very, very happy. It's never something I suppose, Darren, you would know better than most of us as a coach, to play out of your comfort zone. A lot of your preparation's got to be different. The surrounds are different. I know it's the same for both teams, but for West Perth to come here today against a side in Perth who really had to, for their season, play well and really win the game, West Perth have comprehensively beaten a team that had to be desperate and possibly put an end to their season.
Yeah, no doubt. The preparation must have been excellent. The players have obviously bought in. I know as a coach, when I was coaching and you played your country games, you usually stayed over wherever you went and you got involved with the district.
We'll just hold it there. Let's go to Nicky Brown, who's got certainly one of the stars of the day, Andrew Strike.
Andrew, you've won this game. Congratulations, and now sealed second spot. How does it feel?
That's absolutely fantastic. You know, that's what we came out here to do. And the boys came together today and really put in a great effort, and couldn't be happier right now.
And that third quarter with all the rain, the ball looked quite slippery out there. How were the conditions today?
Yeah, it didn't rain a hell of a lot, but the ground was a bit slippery underfoot, and the ball got a bit greasy in certain patches of the game. So it was tough conditions, but pretty basic footy. Just grab the ball and kick it long.
And you had over 20 possessions today. Where did you think you were pretty good on the ground without, I guess, getting a massive...
I don't think it was an individual thing at all. I think it was just a team effort, really. It was all 22 of us, and we lost a couple, like Luke Tedesco and Geordie Late. And, these guys are very important for us. So, with 20 of us to come together and actually, win the game was fantastic, I thought.
And did you feel that extra pressure, I guess, with that one player down with Tedesco out and obviously only 3 on the bench?
Yeah, well, Teddy's a big component to our backline, He's very important to us, and Petters as well, not having Petters back there. But, we had a couple of good young guys do a couple of good jobs today. So Trent Manzone and Chris Shannon. So, those boys were fantastic.
And how much confidence does this win give you guys heading into finals?
It gives us a lot of confidence, but like I said, we've got 2 games to go. So, we've got to take on East Freo next week, 1 game at a time. And if we can build up and hit the finals at peak performance, that'll be fantastic.
And the guys were pumping you up there for maybe another tilt at AFL. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't like my chance. I'm pretty old and getting a bit slow. So, but, there's plenty of young guys in our team that are putting their hand up, like Blackie, Nelson and Cody Manning. So I'll leave it to them.
Congratulations.
Nice, cheers.
Yes, for someone who's pretty old and slow, he was quite outstanding this afternoon. But the point we were making late in the piece there that was probably quite evident, Darren, for a long time for that performance. They were just such an even group, weren't they? To a man, they did their job as the on-field presentations are underway. The West Perth, I think that would be one of the most satisfying things for Bill Monaghan as a coach, just for the evenness of their performance.
Yeah, no question in that, Phil. And Andrew Strikeburn pretty humble there, but you know I think he had 17 possessions by the look of the stats. It didn't seem like a 17 possession game. It was an outstanding game of football by him. But when you think Pettigrew, Van Berlo and potentially Hutchings to come back in that side, and we talked about the evenness. Wouldn't mind being in Billy Monahan's shoes at the moment. It's a good dilemma to have.
You've been in those shoes.
Yeah.
You have been in those shoes and been all the way to the top. Bill Monahan's got that ahead of him as we look at the goal scorers whilst the presentations are on, and that was a great performance by Matt Fowler. 5 goals straight in these conditions, outstanding. Crisp, a great contributor at ground level and around the goals. He kicked 3. Salikas and Mellington 2 apiece. Kerr, Brown and Guadnan each with 1. And for the Demons, gee, they dried up after deep in the second quarter. Bevan and Reamers, the only multiple goal scorers, throw in McGuinness, Moody and Tunbridge, but they were well short of the mark this afternoon, the Demons, and it was really the Falcons all day, apart from that first quarter when the Demons fought back after the Falcons kicked the first 2. But Perth led by 7 points at quarter time. It was game on, but West Perth thumped them in the second quarter, kicking 9 goals to 3 to lead by 5 straight goals at half-time. They stretched it out to 38 points at three-quarter time, and the final margin was a straight 10 goals, 18-17, 115 to 7-13, 55. And looking at Perth first, well, Ali Smith, I thought he was probably Perth's best. He had 24 possessions, never stopped trying, a good 4-quarter effort. Hodge likewise. Tunbridge did some very good things, but some not so smart things, but he was inaccurate in front of goal. Not the only one of the Demons guilty of that. Leeson had 15 possessions, O'Sullivan 15, Florio a dozen, Manuel I thought was a good contributor all day with a dozen, and Julian Jacobs with 12. And for West Perth, Black 17 also to strike. As you say, it's really what you do with the footy, isn't it, Darren? Crisp had 15 possessions and he kicked 3 goals with his possessions. Manzone, 19 possessions, 13 from Salikas, who was a good target all day. Likewise with Fowler with his 5 goals. Marusic was most impressive, 15, and Guadnan 18 possessions. And look at those centre breaks, 20-8 in the end. That was probably the most telling factor. Obviously, the inside 50s are going to be inflated when you're dominating the centre breaks like West Perth did today, Darren.
Yeah, and you look at those stats, like hit out 63 to 34. That's a dominance. The way they structured up in there to be able to win those centre breaks, to win 12 of them, and to go inside 50, like you said, that's a domination. And we talked about the defensive skills of West Perth. To be able to limit Perth to 30 inside 50, said they were doing a lot right. And these stats don't show the things that we saw today, which are the 1% of things, the smothers, the chases, the tackles, all those things that were crucial to West Perth's dominance today, and the evenness of that performance.
Well, I'll certainly be looking at them during the week when they do their video review, and we can have a look at some of the highlights of the match this afternoon, which West Perth finished up winning by 10 goals.
And the Falcons could go into attack again. 2-on-1, Salikas was outnumbered in the air. Sliding in bravely was Kerr, and he won the football to Crisp. Now feeds it out. Salisic will hook it back to the hot spot. Millington in the box seat. Kane over the top. Fisting it to a dangerous spot. Quick kick, quick toe poke, and a goal. Cunin's taken a wonderful grab. That's bad news about Tedesco. Cunin inside the 50, running onto the football and cruising into an open goal is Crisp. And the Falcons get their third.
Line-Decker's up over the top of Coonan, wins the tap. Sketch has been really busy, kicks the ball up forward. Here's Stack. He retreats with the kick. And the umpire a little bit premature. So back in this afternoon, really needs to hit some form this afternoon. That's a pretty good-looking kick. And I think he's put it through. He has. He really likes it.
15-6 on the year for Kerr. Spent 3 seasons on Carlton's list, but didn't play a game. It's a lovely kick. Splits the middle. And the Falcons reclaim the lead. He goes to ground and he was taken high. Brave work by Irons. He'll get the free kick. Just his second game. He played 3 matches with Port Adelaide. Here's White. Oh, he gave it into a man who ran into enormous trouble. And Hunt was caught holding the ball. 8 goals, 7 on the year for Cody Manning. This for 4 straight for the term for the Falcons. He drills it. Can give it to Tunbridge, who drives it deep, hoping for Reamers. It just pitched short of him. Can he keep it in? He does. He slips past the tackle of Shannon, curls it through.
Gee, that was a timely goal. A terrific effort by Reamers. And for his confidence and for the confidence of the team. They couldn't have really afforded for West Perth to get the last one before the half-time break, but they still might. Beautiful ruck work by Chris Coonan. Gets it down to Matt Gwadden on the run. That was a great combination, long and high. Crisp, dealt with by Irons. Oh, it goes down there to Chris Spaghetti. Got it from Jordan Jones. Crisp snaps on goal, and that is a great opportunistic goal by the West Perth small man.
Just the one goal, and this is his 18th game this season. Kick on its way, looks very good. Brown gets his first. Smith off a step. Jacobs has worked his way into the game. Oh, gave it to Smith, ran into a couple of Falcons and gave it up. Millington will go onto his favoured left and make them pay.
Brown's going to go long up the middle again. That's a massive drop punt.
Terrific in these conditions. Morton put a double fist into it, but it landed with Salisic, who gave it into Manzoni. Well, he kicks it into the path of Fowler. If this sits up for him, trouble here for the Demons. Fowler's inside 50. He straightens up, kicks it on its way. And look at that. Just the opposite from what's been happening at the other end of the ground. Well, that's how it was done. The Falcons trailing at quarter time by 7 points, but they really went into overdrive and controlled the game after that, leading by 5 goals at half time. They led by 38 points at three-quarter time, and the final margin, a 10-goal victory to the Falcons, and they'll be well satisfied with that. Round 21, the finals coming along, and they couldn't be in better shape, you'd think, Darren. They've got East Fremantle, I think, next week. Then they've got a bye, and then they've got Swan Districts to finish up with. So they've got a rest in between. Just before the finals, they can sharpen up with some pretty good hit-outs against East Fremantle and Swan Districts, but second spot is done.
Yeah, very good leading. You'd be wanting to get Tedesco hopefully up and going again. Jordan Jones is pretty important to them. Pettigrew will come back in. So they have put themselves in a fantastic spot. And you play all year these games to try and get a double chance, and that's what they've been able to do.
And Matt Fowler hits top form today with 5 goals. A bit of an added bonus because, as you say, they've still got a couple to come back in.
Yeah, he's kicked 26 for the year. And they've just got so many options up there. Salikas has kicked more than 30. Crisp has been playing really well up front. They're a very dangerous, potent and eclectic forward line that's really functioning very well.
Well, one of the most satisfied men here at the moment would be Bill Monaghan, and he's downstairs with Dickie Brown.
Bill, great win today. What were you most impressed with?
Oh, look, we were under the pump early with an early injury, and then Geordie got a significant one later in the game. So they're a good side, and they kept coming at us. So I was just really happy that we adapted to the conditions. It's a game where you play away from the metro area, and we haven't always been successful at that. So it's been a really good day for us.
And can you explain to us what's happened with Tedesco and John Jones?
Yeah, Teddy looks like he's got a strain in his calf, and then Geordie got a significant cork. So Chris Coonan battled through with a really sore shoulder from probably about halfway through the second quarter. So look, I thought our boys kept their head over the ball. They attacked it pretty hard. I thought some of our defensive pressure was outstanding in the forward half, and Matt Fowler kicked 5 goals too. So he'll be pretty happy with that.
And speaking of Fowler kicking the 5 goals, you must be pretty happy with having another forward target up there and obviously heading into finals.
Yeah, look, he's been fantastic the last couple of weeks, and Sean Marisic done a really good job up there today, and then we had to throw him back and in the ruck for a bit as well. So, look, we just like to keep as many options up forward as we can. We don't have any superstars probably anywhere across the ground, but our forward line is just a work in progress, and I thought they're doing a really good job.
And you kept Perth goalless from half-time. How much confidence does that give you heading into finals, and obviously for your defenders as well?
Oh, that's a fantastic effort. I guess when they kick 10 points or whatever they kick, that we can't take all the credit for that. But the fact is that we've kept a high scoring side to 55 points, and we're good enough to kick over 100 ourselves. So that's really pleasing.
You've secured second spot. How great does it feel?
Oh, that's fantastic, but nothing's going to change in the next couple of weeks. We've got East Fremantle next Sunday in our international round, so that should be a ripper, and then we can have a bye and then finish off out at Bassendean. So look, we'll just keep taking it one step at a time.
Great, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The Falcons will be enjoying their bus trip home this afternoon or this evening, because they have some good reason to celebrate with all of the players in a good frame of mind, other than a few injuries, which is going to be a bit problematical with a month to go, but time to get all that sorted out with players coming back as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And if I was Billy Monahan, I'd be probably putting a quick tape together during the week of all those 1%ers. And, you know, someone like Cody Manning today probably set the example as high as anyone.
Yeah, he did. Let's have a look at the final results of the other two matches that were played today. And didn't Peel Thunder push Swan Districts all of the way? In fact, very late in the quarter, in the final quarter there, Peel Thunder got their noses in front, would have given Swan Districts a real scare. So the Black and Whites by 1 goal, but it was murder at Medibank Stadium. East Perth just put on the pressure. Subiaco crumbled, and the margin there 68 points. So as a result of that, East Perth I think are going to skip from 6th up to 3rd. Of course, Swan Districts will hold a place in the top 4, but it's going to be pretty hard for the Demons going forward. Speaking of the Demons, we will be following them next week, because our round 22 match of the day is East Perth versus Perth. That game, of course, at Medibank Stadium. So the toughness continues this season for the Demons. They've got the job ahead of them. East Perth look pretty strong. It's been a terrific day here at Moora. The sun starting to shine now, I should say, as the game is all over here. But it's been a stellar day for West Perth. A big win for them. They've got a finals ahead of them, and they'll be looking forward to that. And we look forward to seeing you next week at Medibank Stadium.